Ready.
Aloha kako. Good evening, everybody. Mahalo nui for joining us here at the Waimānalo Public Library. Chair Kane will be overseeing our meeting this evening, and we're going to call this meeting into order at 7 p.m. We're going to start off with Pule first. We're going to ask Brenda Wong to offer Pule for us. If Pule is not a part of your function in life, please feel free to exit and come back in. But Brenda, mahalo.
Mahalo ke akua for bringing us together. Thank you that you love Waimānalo, that you love this place, have brought us together for the betterment of this community. We ask you for your wisdom. We ask you for your strength. We thank you, Lord, that you have great people living here, and we ask that you would lead and guide us tonight. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Mahalo nui. Welcome everybody to the regular meeting of the Waimānalo Neighborhood Board number 32. Today's Monday, October 13th. It is 7 p.m. as I mentioned. We're here at the Waimānalo Public Library, and folks are joining us online. Mahalo nui for that as well. We are going to go through real quickly some of the opening remarks. The purpose of the Neighborhood Board and the Neighborhood Board Plan is to increase and assure effective citizen participation in the decisions of government. Rules for engagement: anyone wishing to speak is asked to click the raise hand icon online if you are to communicate through WebEx. And when recognized by the chair, to address your comments to the chair. Remarks should not exceed 3 minutes. Please ensure your microphone is muted unless you are speaking. You can mute and unmute for those dialing in by phone by pressing *6. Please state your first and last name for the record before moving into comment and question. That's very important for the meeting minutes. And written testimony may also be submitted via email using the contact information listed on the Neighborhood Commission Office website. This board adopted the use of aloha as an expectation of behavior. Akahai meaning kindness to be expressed with tenderness. Lokahi meaning unity to be expressed with harmony. Olu olu meaning agreeable to be expressed with pleasantness. Ha'aha'a meaning humility to be expressed with modesty, and ahonui meaning patience to be expressed with perseverance in accordance with Hawaii Revised Statutes chapter 5-7.5. Please note that the board may take action on any agenda item as required by the Sunshine Law, HRS 92. Specific issues not noted on this agenda cannot be voted on unless added to the agenda, at which time a 2/3 vote, 9 of this 13-member board is needed to do so. Adding an item to the agenda, however, is not permitted if 1, the item to be added is of reasonably major importance, and 2, if the action of the item by the board will affect a significant number of persons. Determination on whether a specific matter may be added to an agenda must be done on case-by-case basis. We remind folks to please silence all electronic devices and that this meeting will be recorded for future use. Members as well, when we are in voting, please make sure your cameras are turned on. We remind folks that we are on a school campus, and so any alcohol and smoking is not permitted. And restrooms are out here to your right, women and men, and then emergency exits are posted here as well as out in front here in the event of an emergency. So mahalo nui for joining us this evening. We're going to turn it over to our new neighborhood board assistant, which I'll introduce, Melissa Rubio. Thank you so much for being here. Melissa will take roll call. Members, respond when your name is called. Mahalo.
Thank you, Chair. Good evening, everyone. I'm going to start with Member Kamaha Lohalunwilai. Here. Member Kamakea Ohelo. Absent. Chair Kane.
Ayo.
Member Makaila.
Ayo.
Thank you. Member McKee. I don't see her absent. Member Moku Lehua.
Ayo.
Thank you. Member Nee.
Ayo.
Thank you. Member Ralston. I don't see her. And Member Wong.
Here.
Thank you. Chair, you have 6 members present.
Mahalo. Okay, so we're one short of quorum, gang, for the evening. We'll take a look and follow up with folks as they arrive to make sure we have quorum. So this board needs 7 to take action on items. Mahalo nui for that. We are going to move on to the Olelo No'ea of the month. This is Olelo No'ea number 15, A'ai Kahula, Waiho Kahilahila Makahale. A'ai Kahula, Waiho Kahilahila Makahale, which translates essentially into, when you're going to dance the hula, leave your shyness at home, right? When you're ready to do something or called to do something and asked to do something, to not be shy, to leave that home. And so we're using Olelo No'ea to keep us reminded of the kuleana that we particularly take on. Yeah, and that's going to be important for us. Question? Okay. Mahalo. We have a very full agenda this evening, gang, so I'm going to ask that we be mindful of our time. We don't typically like to cut folks off. We want people to express what they need to express, but we do need to monitor our time this evening with a very, very heavy agenda. So I'm going to ask us to push through most of what we can. In the circumstances that might require or interest one to do follow-up, please have maybe a side conversation outside on how to follow up separately, and or we can communicate through email and figure out what the best route for follow-up might be. So I don't want to turn this into a 3-hour meeting. So we have a commitment to get out of here at 9:30, and we're going to live up to that commitment while listening to as many people as we can. So we're going to get started quickly with the fire department. Do we have anyone from HFD present? Okay, no problem. Thank you, Aka. We'll go ahead and move on to HPD. We'll start with HPD. Mahalo for being here, sir.
Good evening, board members and members of the community. My name is Lieutenant Akagi. I'm one of 3 lieutenants in charge of this community. Online is also Officer Jared Atkins, and he'll be presenting the stats for the month of September.
Mahalo, Lieutenant. Thanks, Jared.
Good evening. I'm with District 4 Community Policing Team, Jared Atkins. The stats for Waimānalo for September 2025 were motor vehicle thefts. There was 1 versus 0 the previous month. There was 1 burglary in September versus 1 the previous month. There were 3 thefts in September versus 4 the previous month. There were 4 car break-ins, UMVs in September versus 3 the previous month. There were 0 robberies in September versus 0 the previous month. And that's all I have for the stats. We can take any questions or concerns.
Mahalo nui. Thank you, Officer Atkins. Members, Brenda Wong? Brenda, you got to use the microphone. Thank you.
Yeah, I have a request to the police to be more involved and active at Hunananiho. I'm also chair of the Parks and Rec Committee in Waimānalo. I don't know if everyone knows, but there was at least 1 death within the month. And a groundskeeper on the McDonald's side was growing 3 coconut trees that he had for 5 years. And people in the small vehicles, 3 or 4 wheelers, pulled it down, broke them up, pulled down all those coconut trees, did graffiti on that bathroom. We need security cameras. And I see, even in the daytime, I see all those 3, 4 wheelers blazing through, very dangerous for everybody. And I also noticed that the police meet at Waimānalo Elementary School and hang out there for their calls. So my request is to wait for your calls at Hunananiho. And if they see police presence, I think it would make a big difference. Thank you.
Mahalo. Lieutenant, I don't know if you folks want to respond to that, but the mic is open for it.
Officer Atkins, you want to respond? You have anything?
Yeah, sure. So this past weekend, we've actually stepped up enforcement for vehicles on the beach. Several warnings were given along with several citations, and that is going to continue. So we are trying to step up enforcement for that. We will try to come out more in the daytime as well on our ATVs to patrol the area. I know one of our biggest problems at Hunananiho is the gate being locked at night. Most of the time it is left open. If we have someone from Parks and Recs, maybe tonight we could ask them to address that better, because it seems like every time we go out there at night, the gate is unlocked and open, which it should not be. So if Parks could maybe address that, that would be helpful for us. But yeah, we will definitely try to step up some our presence over there.
Noted. Mahalo nui. Any other members' questions for Mahalo?
Aloha, my name is Kanala Kamala Nilai. My question for HPD is, this past weekend, there was a truck that rammed the Waimānalo beautification barrier. So if HPD is patrolling up and down Makapu to Kailua, who is responsible for holding those individuals accountable for breaking that barrier and disrupting the iwi kupuna there, as well as the native pants? Or does a member of the community need to call HPD in order to have something enforced?
I think I can answer that. Those are all no parking areas. And actually, we just brought that up in the lineup tonight and the night prior about the parking over there. That we need to be on top of that and maintain. We try to, I try to tell the officers that we got to maintain Waimānalo Beach Park amongst their other duties. They've done a great job with Officer Atkins with clearing out some individuals that were over there, parked over there, camping over there. But we brought that up and we'll try to maintain that, no parking area. Again, to protect the fence line and all of that. I did notice that, unfortunately. So we'll try and do better in that area. Yeah.
Mahalo.
Mahalo nui Kanala. Any other members? Questions for HPD? 1 second, TJ. 1 second. Members? Hearing none. Community members in public, and then we'll go to community members online. And just please introduce yourself. Mahalo.
Sure. Aloha mai kākou. My name is TJ Joseph. I'm a member of Waimānalo. I live in Kumaniu. Mahalo for addressing all of our wishes. I want to say, as for stars or good things, I did notice, and it's been a season of crisis, I think, for our Waimānalo families. When we hear sirens, when we hear things, we all are like worried. Is it somebody who's passing? Is it somebody who needs kokua? What is it? I noticed one day that there were a couple of HPD officers who was on the side. So because I'm a member of the community, I asked, is everything okay? What's going on? And really what it was somebody who did not have a home, was, houseless, who was on the side of the road, that the officer was just there to make sure that she didn't jump in front of the road while they're waiting for the other people to come, whether it's paramedics, to assist. So sometimes our officers are doing things like that. They're taking care of the safety of someone who needs that safety, that a vehicle just there. So the drivers who are not from Waimānalo, who are speeding through because they don't know, and I just wave with my Miss Aloha hand when I want to do something else. But we do have officers who are also here to protect. So I kind of like it too, like if this was a Paniola town and they all were on, horses, they would be patrolling. So the more that we can cause a community and see what's going on, then the horses and our people that do service can address our needs of the community. And if the three-wheelers is a kid of mine, which it shouldn't be, you can more than welcome call me because I would hooky them as well. So it's our community. We need to work together. We need to speak up and don't be afraid. They're here to help us. And the more they know, the more they can do. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui, TJ. Thank you. Any other members in the public for HPD? Seeing none. Members online? Community? Nope. Okay. Lieutenant, and then Jared, I just have one, maybe if we can add one follow-up to our report. Can we see or report on the outreach and the enforcement, Jared, that you guys are doing at the community policing team? If you guys have any organized stuff that's taking place, can you guys report on that on the monthly report as well?
Yeah, definitely. I can add that into the report.
Cool. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Lieutenant?
Just one thing. I think the last meeting we were here, you asked about the surveillance cameras at District 7, Makapu. And so
Yes.
forth. So I looked a little bit into it.
Yes.
So what I know is it's a 6-month project that began somewhere at the end of August. It cost about $21,000 per camera to set up, but it's been proven very effective in those areas where crime has gone down to pretty much zero. So it also has thermal imaging and high resolution cameras. And it is also able to broadcast weather alerts. So if in case of tsunami, like we had earlier this year, we were able to use it in that manner. So just to answer your question from the last meeting.
I appreciate that. We do have a member of the community who's here to speak to that in our community segment as well. So if you folks are still available for that conversation, that'd be helpful.
I'll hang around.
Yeah, thank you. Mahalo. Seeing no other questions, members, we're gonna move on. I think I just heard HFD rolling out, so we're gonna bring Aka up. Lieutenant Aka is with the City and County of Honolulu's Department of Ocean Safety. Mahalo, Aka.
Hello, everybody. Like Kimona mentioned, Aka Tamashiro, I'm the primary lieutenant specifically for the Waimānalo area. We're currently based out of the HFD yard as well. So we're grateful for them, and they've been very busy today. So I'm sure they'll make it if they can. For September, per usual for us, usually the summer is our busy time of year. Is it going into September is when we start to see a little bit of a mellow drop, but now with so many breaks in the school year that we consistently see random spikes here and there. We just had a really busy week with fall break. But over the last month's numbers, we averaged between Makapu'u, the beach park, and Hunananio, roughly about 25,000 beachgoers, with about 10,000 down at Bellows, which is only open on the weekends and holidays. Out of those preventative actions, roughly about 6,000. First aid minors, which is basically anything that doesn't involve us requiring to call the ambulance or EMS and whatnot. About 1,000, just shy of that. And rescues, we're busy in different parts. For District 2, it goes from our demarcation lines are from Kaneohe Marine Corps Base to roughly the Hawaii Kai boat ramp. But for the outer edges, Kailua, Kaneohe especially, and then down at Sandy Beach is always a hot spot. Those guys saw consistent numbers, but luckily for us over in Waimānalo area, overall, our rescues were moderate at Makapu'u with 27, but consistently down between Beach Park, Hunananiho, and Bellows, with only 6 at the Beach Park, 2 at Hunananiho, and luckily, I'll knock on anything at this point. We had 0 at Bellows, so we're very grateful. We're enjoying a nice, safe few weeks. Soon it'll be the holidays and it'll be busy again. Also to touch back, I know I let you guys know we were successful in bringing up that 40-foot container for storage. Parks was nice enough. We're very happy for Dwayne. Unfortunately, he was the guy that had his plants demoed, but everybody came together. We were able to get it successfully put in. As expecting, we saw vandalism the first 2 nights already right off the bat, but we were expecting that. Luckily, no property was stolen, just damaged. We're going to continue to work with HPD and just try to keep everything secure. And so far, that's going good. And that's essentially all we have to report this month.
Mahalo Aka for the report. Members, questions for ocean safety? Members online? Seeing none. Members in public? None. Community members here? Seeing none. Any members from the community online? Seeing none. Aka mahalo nui for your guys' service. Thank you so much.
Mahalo.
Be safe with the next swell too. Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on, gang. We have Board of Water Supply. Danny? And then I'll just make a note that we do have Kuike, Kamakia Ohelo, and Jenna McKeague have joined us as well. So that brings our total number up to 8. So we do have quorum. Mahalo nui for joining us. We're going to turn it back to Board of Water Supply. Mahalo.
Hi, good evening. I have this is Danielle Ornelas with the Board of Water Supply. So I have the neighborhood board October reading from the Board of Water Supply. So last month we had 1 4-inch main break on Mahailua Road. I don't have an installation date, but I do believe it was 1965. And there also is no planned Board of Water road work on the schedule. And the message is as follows: the Board of Water needs your help. Please reduce water usage by 20%. Currently, we're going through lower than normal rainfall, and the high water demand can impact our water supply. While we are good for now, here are some simple ways that you can help ensure we have fresh drinking water now and into the future. So turn off your tap while brushing your teeth, washing hands, or shaving. Shorter showers are always good. Use a garden nozzle on your garden hose, and irrigate plants, etc. in the morning to reduce evaporation. Even small changes make a big difference. For more information on how to conserve water, please visit boardofwatersupply.com. Any questions?
Danny, thank you so much for the update. Members online, questions for Board of Water Supply? Seeing none. Members here? None? Public online? Public members here? Seeing and hearing none. Danny, I just have a real quick question, if I might.
Sure.
I do appreciate the outreach that we have as residents here. I'm curious, how does the Board of Water Supply handle the visitor industry during times of drought and like in this particular period of caution?
We do send out informational packets to them, to the hotels, the tourist industry, the HTA, etc. I can get more information though for exacts, but yeah, we do notify them also.
And I
to
know we do
conserve.
have wonderful Board of Water Supply
Yeah,
representatives
she's
here
she's
as
there.
well. Okay, and more importantly, Kathleen, while we talk about it, kind of as a caution to communities, I feel sometimes like we don't do enough to see really, is the hotels dropping down on their usage and or what is happening? So I'm just curious.
Absolutely. That's an excellent question. We do outreach
This
to the
is Kathleen
hotels.
Pahinui, by the way.
Aloha. We do outreach to the hotels because we do believe that it's not fair just to ask our residents to save water. It should be everybody's kuleana, not just ours. So we have made outreaches to the various hotels, but by nature during COVID especially, a lot of the hotels went through retrofitting and they generally have very low flow everything. The biggest expense for them, of course, are pools and irrigation, and we work with them on bringing those costs down. We have a robust commercial rebate program that we also develop with them, and we also do audits in their hotel restaurants and things like that. But we're very cognizant. Actually, they're not our largest water users on the island. I mean, they are high water users, but not the largest in our system, and we're very careful
are?
about it. Marine Corps Base.
Mahalo.
That was an easy answer. Yeah, but no, thank you. We are very cognizant of that, and we do work with all of the visitor industries, including the visitors themselves. Thank you.
Mahalo nui for the response. Danny, thank you so much for your time and for being here.
Thank you.
Mahalo you folks for your service. We'll see you folks next month. Okay, and then noting the arrival of Mr. Ted Ralston, so that brings our number up to 9. Thank you so much for being here, Ted. Members, we're going to move on to the mayor's report with Director Laura Thielen. Director, the time is yours. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sound is
Oops.
great. Thank you.
Sorry, not sure what's going on with my camera. Okay, so for the mayor's report, the big news is the second segment of rail is going to be opening this week. And in order to encourage people to ride rail and get to be familiar with it, this weekend it's going to be free. The second segment runs from the stadium to the Middle Street area, and it includes going by the airport. So for those of you who are looking at either picking somebody up at the airport, maybe you can have them riding the rail part of the way, so it makes it the pickup a little bit easier and not as difficult. I know it's kind of a pain to have to wait until the person comes out of the airport, because you're having the security guards make you drive around now. And so there's some other options. Riding it on the free weekend is nice because what they're saying is they've really integrated the airport rail stop with the gates. In a lot of cities, apparently, when you go there, the rail just drops you at one end of the airport or another, and you have a very long walk. So this one is, I think, drops you off right at Hawaiian Airlines. The Middle Street area, they're going to have rapid bus lines where they've knocked buses that have had 50 stops down to 15 stops. So you can get an express bus from Middle Street going straight to the university or to Waikiki. So they're trying to connect it with all the major employment centers from the area. So it would really encourage people just to go and enjoy the view too. The next issue up is that the city is looking for a new chief resiliency officer. The gentleman who was in the role took a resignation for personal reasons. This is the Office of Climate Change and Resiliency that was set up by the city charter. And so the city is looking for a new resiliency officer to take the leadership of that office. As many of you know, we ran a survey for Ho'omaluhia. Ho'omaluhia has been open 7 days a week I think about 362 days a year. And the attendance rate has jumped up from about 250,000 to 725,000, which is so overwhelming. The staff cannot do any of the scientific plant maintenance work or general facility maintenance work with so many people there. So we did a survey for people to pick which day they would prefer to have closed. And Thursday came out as the day selected for the day of rest. So that will be starting the second Thursday in January of 2026. The Ho'omalohi'a will remain open the other 6 days a week. Some of you may have seen in the news about the fire at H Power because somebody improperly disposed of a gas grill container in the regular rubbish. So please remember to dispose of your gas and flammable material properly. We were very lucky that nobody was injured because people do go in that area, but it created a huge fire and a lot of damage. Two more things. One is the sewer rates are going to be going up, but the Department of Environmental Services has come up with an ability for people to be able to monitor their water use. And if you want to identify areas to reduce the amount of water you have going into the sewer system, because if you use less, you would end up paying less. And so if you are interested in getting that tool to be able to monitor your use and then to see if you can take some action to reduce your bill, you can call 768-3330. That's 768-3330. And the Department of Environmental Services can help get you set up for that new tool. And then lastly, the Waimānalo Beach Park Pavilion construction will be starting this month. They were originally scheduled to start tomorrow. I did not have a chance to double check today if that's still on, but it will be this month, if not tomorrow. I do have an additional update on the Waimānalo Beach Park bathroom construction, because after the presentation last month, we received notice that the area where the water and electrical line was coming out of the park may be a sensitive area. And so we wanted to come back to the board to talk about a different route. So I had given Melissa a couple pictures and share if this time is good. We could go over that, or if you want us to take questions first, I can do that too.
No, we can go over this presentation and then hold for questions for everything at the end.
Okay, thank you. So
Okay.
if you look at the right-hand side of the screen, this is the bathroom that is next to the campgrounds and the canoe halau. And you will see two dotted lines, a blue line and a green line. Those are the existing water and electrical lines. As you can see, they go underneath the parking lot. So if we were to replace the water and electrical under where the existing lines are, we would need to close the parking lot. And then those are buried fairly deep because they have to be able to withstand the pressure of the vehicles in the parking lot area. So what DDC had and the consultant had recommended when they came to visit last month is an alternative route where you can see coming from that same building, the blue line and the yellow line. And that would be a new route for the water and electrical line. That's the area where it comes out of the park, where we were notified that it may be a sensitive area. And so at this point, we would either be looking at the existing route, which goes through the parking lot, or we have a third alternative that I wanted to run by you tonight. Melissa, would you be able to show the next picture? So again, you can see the dotted lines where the existing water and electrical lines are going through the parking lot. On the right-hand side, you could see the option that was presented to the board at the last meeting with the yellow and blue line, which would be where the new route proposed for the water and the electrical. The yellow line is the electrical, and it becomes dotted when it hits the road, because when it comes to the road, it then comes up from underground and would go over the highway. The other alternative, the third alternative you can see on the left side, is to take the water and the electrical around the outside of the parking lot. And if you basically, it doesn't show it here, but if you hug the parking lot, it would be located, you know, in an area that was close to what had been previously disturbed, although not, you know, right now it is grass, so it would be disturbing ground. It would not have to go as deep as if we use the routes under the existing the parking lot. And then you would not have to close the parking lot during the construction or during repairs. So we wanted to bring this option back to the board between using the existing lines through the parking lot, or to wrap around the parking lot going as close as possible to be near but not exactly under previously disturbed ground.
Director, thank you so much for the update. Do we have a timeline on needing to get this back to you? This
Yes, they
recommendation?
do. They do want to go forward with the design in order to keep on the timetable. Personally, I'd like to keep things moving as well, just because I know we're in the second term for this mayor, and so we would want to get through the regulatory review, the permitting, and then encumber the construction before this administration goes out, so we can make sure that we can get the project through to completion. So if it is possible to get preferences tonight, we would be grateful. And
Okay, I appreciate that. I think, we'll have to add this particular item to the agenda this evening for us to have a discussion on it. And that discussion I was planning for the November meeting, but if you are needing it this evening, I think we definitely need time to discuss some of the proximity questions that I know are going to come up. The two lines that's demonstrated here don't necessarily hug the curb as much as I initially thought it might. So maybe we can spend some time clarifying that afterwards. But mahalo for that presentation. We're gonna move to questions. Members online, questions on the mayor's report. Seeing none. Members present. Mayor's report, questions? Yes, anything for the city? Yep, there, go ahead and grab the mic, Brenda.
Direct. I know you've received our priority list for Waimānalo parks, and number one was the ATV for the workers all across from Bellows all the way up. They don't have a vehicle. So the ocean safety people have put their things in the new container. So there is a place in the bathroom ready for the vehicle. So wanted to check on that. And also the workers are needing some basic things like weed whacker. One of them that's supposed to do weed whacking doesn't have a weed whacker. And because as people call HPD about different things that are happening, they have been told by PD, we cannot enforce anything because there's no signage. So I've been to many parks all over the island, signs everywhere. And so I just was wondering about the signs. And another thing that was mentioned is that the camping area with the 10 campsites, there's no numbers. So nobody really knows who's supposed to be at each site because there's no numbers for any of the campsites. So I was wondering if you could address any of those.
I think I did get the list that you folks had sent me earlier. I was not aware if you have some specific signage that you would like to have, if you could follow up with me with an email on what the signage needs to cover and where you folks would like it posted, then we can follow up with that signage. I'll follow up with the district manager on the weed whacker. Yes, the design for both bathrooms, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of Waimānalo Beach Park, not the other one. Yeah, sorry, strike that. And I'm happy that the Ocean Safety has moved in with their container there. I think it's going to help with the activation. I know there is interest in long-term, something in that area, and the park department is open to that too. We've been, very happy working with Ocean Safety and having their presence in the parks.
More like the location for the vehicle is ready.
I think they have
Sorry,
an
Terry.
area now, but I will double check.
Does that answer your question? And then we'll respond to some of the other asks. Yeah. Canela, go ahead.
Good evening, Director Thielen. This is Canela, Neighborhood Board member. For the Skyline segment, is there a number for new users to contact, like how we have the 848-5555? Just in case they get lost on the Skyline or they don't know how to navigate it properly?
I will check on that and get back to you.
Thank you. So, Director, one more question. With the Skyline, is that shutting down the stops under the airport highway freeway, like underneath Nimitz? Are those bus routes going to be stopped or lessened?
Not that I know of. That instead what they've been working on is routes that will support those express routes. So I can check on whether there's going to be any reduction in the Nimitz buses. But for airport, you can bus to connect with Skyline, and they are on time, I think about 99% of the time. And since you always need to get to the airport on time, you may want to go through the Skyline rather than the buses. But I will check on whether they're reducing any bus service.
Thank you, Director. Could I make one request? I did receive the minutes agenda for the switch of the Skyline and the buses. Will there be a visual, like a visual highlight just showing community members where the stops are going to be changing when the change from Skyline and the bus changes?
You mean the bus
Because a lot,
stops?
yes. Will there be like a visual? So you know how on the map there's a timetable, but in the back there's like a whole map showing which bus stops will be lowered, which skylines they can board. I do have a lot of vulnerable community individuals that utilize those bus stations.
I
But
can
would
get,
the city be open for that?
I can get more information on the Skyline. I know they've been working very hard on making it as seamless as possible for people to connect from one to the other. And so I think they will have signage up in the stations about where to go. But let me find out some more information and then we can send that to you folks at the board.
Thank you, Director. Have a good evening.
Mahalo, Canela. Community members online, I know we have a few questions in the chat, Director. I'm just going to read them off. If you have a response, that would be great. So now the question about the future parking, you want that asked here or in discussion when we move to that, hopefully at the end of the agenda? But while Sanel, you can type that answer in there. The question reads, how does the rail help Waimānalo residents?
Well,
I
the
don't know if
same
directly
way
you
in
have an
that
answer.
infrastructure around the island, it just helps all of us as a community. I have to commute out to Kapolei where the park office is, and so I'm driving against traffic. But I see all of the people out in those communities where the rush hour that they have going into town and then going back. And those people are going into jobs in Honolulu, and often many of us are beneficiaries of those jobs. And they'll be in the car two hours plus a day between the commute back and forth. And if there's an accident, they'll be in it a lot longer. So just think, as island people, we try to help each other out. It was a shock for me to see that, being raised on the windward side, but it's a huge deal for people that live on the leeward coast, Kapolei and Ewa.
Mahalo for that response, Director. So no, I'll bring that up maybe in our future conversation if you're okay with the expansion, if you don't mind. Okay, any other members, community members online? Question for the Office of the Mayor. Seeing none, community members here? TJ? Mahalo.
Aloha. I have one question. You don't have to answer it now. I might not be able to stay because I have my kids outside because the library's closed, so they're reading in the car. But in regards to the pipes that's going to be built, main question I have is what is the budget? The other one might be beautiful as it goes around, but if that budget of pipe is going to be that much more, it's going to take that much time. And like she had mentioned, we want to be able to lock down that budget and encumber those funds so that if there is a change in administration, we have the funds to correctly do it. And then the second question to that is as long as there's environmental and EV is not disturbed, and if there is EV, we take care of it properly. As a Waimānalo community member, I want the best case, most cost efficient, and best use of this time so that Waimānalo can have what we need. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui. Thank you for your questions.
I
Any
don't
other member?
have a exact answer on the cost, but I will tell you the cost of, even though the line around the parking lot, and again, the map was showing it out far just to be able to visualize it. The actual trenching would be closer to the parking lot. But if you go through the parking lot, you have to dig up the parking lot and then repave it afterwards. So while the line going around the parking lot is longer, you would not be digging up the parking lot and not have to repave it. So I think the cost would either be the same or the route going around the parking lot may end up being less expensive.
So one question, in the image, there was that other line that looked like teal and yellow that was coming through on the side. Was that an option or not an option? Because that one looked like the most efficient way.
I can answer that. I think the one that goes directly across the road and
No,
then
not the one in the middle of the concrete on
Yeah.
the right-hand side.
yeah. So that one, the recommendation is to move it because there are sensitive areas where that particular line currently is expected to go.
Okay,
And so when we talk about sensitive, we're talking about iwi kupuna and things
Okay.
like that. Yeah, it's
So-
along that pathway.
perfect. So just how much it's gonna cost and how is that gonna extend the project?
Got you.
Thank
Mahalo.
you.
Any other questions for the Office of the Mayor? Okay, Director, I don't see anyone else currently, so mahalo nui. We will need to add this item for consideration on the agenda. I will just mention that for us, we want to make sure folks have as much opportunity to have input. And I know that this discussion has gone on for a while, so I will bring it before the board to see if they're willing to add it this evening. If not, it'll be agendized in November, just to be transparent about that process for us. Okay, thank you. Members, we're going to move on. We have the State Department of Transportation. Mr. Abe, thank you for being here. The time is yours.
Excuse me. Good evening, Chair Kane and members of Waimānalo Neighborhood Board. Casey Abe from the State DOT Highways. The last month's meeting, I mentioned about some trash, homeless encampment, and overgrown vegetation within the neighborhood area. During my field inspection on September 30th and this morning, I was happy to report our maintenance crew cut back the overgrowth and removed the trash while our homeless coordinator tried to address the homeless next to our guardrail. Unfortunately, the homeless encampment just moved a few feet Makai outside of the highways right away, and new trash was left near the same location. I'll work with our maintenance crew on removing the new trash. Also, during my field inspection, I noticed some new graffiti. One of the graffiti areas was addressed during my field inspection this morning, but our maintenance crew still needs to work on the other areas. On September 9th, I received an email from Board Member Ralston about some few HECO poles without reflector markers, so I'll work with our maintenance crew on installing the new reflective markers. I also noticed the protective guard post around the Board of Water Supply manhole is not painted yellow like the ones around the state emergency sirens. I'll have our maintenance crew work with the Board of Water Supply to paint their protective post yellow, or at least install yellow reflective tape to assist motors, especially at night. Back in February, I mentioned the flashing beacon and school speed limit signs when approaching Waimānalo Elementary and Intermediate School from both directions needed to be replaced. Our maintenance crew finally installed a new school speed limit sign approaching from Inaole Street. But during my field inspection, I noticed only the bottom yellow light was working and not the top, so I worked with our maintenance crew to fix the top light. As for the sign and flashing beacon approaching from Morley Street, it's not the ideal fix since we had to separate the new sign and the new flashing beacon. I'll need to work with our administration to program a new project to do a better fix, which should include moving the flashing beacon sign or existing yellow speed limit sign to increase the spacing between the two signs. Currently, the two signs are just too close to each other. Also, from my understanding, the City and County of Honolulu recently passed a new law that reduces the speed limit within school zones from 25 miles per hour to 20 miles per hour. I'll report back on the project status at a future meeting. During my field inspection, I noticed some bus stops with benches that does not have a trash bin. Fortunately, a good Samaritan has placed trash bags near some of the benches for bus riders and others to place their trash. With the board's approval, I'd like to ask the mayor's representative, Director Thielen, to have the City Department of Facility Maintenance or the City's Department of Transportation Services to install new trash bins at all the bus stops that currently have a bench, like the ones at the McDonald's bus stop. Back in February, the board requested a speed table to be installed at the crosswalk near St. Matthew's Church. As mentioned at previous meeting, I noticed there was a marked crosswalk on the Waimānalo side of St. Matthew's Church at Ehupikai Street, and another crosswalk on the Hawaii Kai side at Hihimanu Street. Between the two marked crosswalks is St. Matthew's multi-purpose parking lot used to pick up and drop off kids, vehicle parking, and also a playground. So I'm just following up with the board on which of the two existing crosswalks they would like the state highways to convert into a raised crosswalk, or does the board want both crosswalks at Ehikai Street and Hihimanu Street to be converted to raised crosswalks? Once I obtain the clarification, I can work with our traffic branch on installing the raised crosswalks. I would also like to thank Chair Kane for allowing Board Member Ralston to attend the State Highways 2-day Traffic Safety Summit that was held last week, Wednesday and Thursday, October 8 and 9, at the Daniel K. Inouye Airport Conference Center. I hope Board Member Ralston enjoyed the summit. And finally, I'll be missing Monday's November 10th meeting because I'll be off island on vacation, taking advantage of the Veterans Day holiday on Tuesday, November 11th. But I will conduct my monthly field inspections and work with our maintenance crew to address any concern during my inspection. So I'll see you folks in the December's meeting. This concludes my report. I can take any questions at this time.
Mahalo nui. Thank you so much, Mr. Abe, for the report. Board members online, questions? Seeing none. Members present? DOT? Seeing none.
I'll just pipe in, Kimiona, thank you, Casey, for the recommendation to attend the meeting. It was quite a good meeting. It was 2 days of pretty high tempo analysis and such on traffic safety. The whole goal is to get down to zero traffic fatalities. We had one 2 weeks ago in Waimānalo. And anyway, I met Casey and we had good discussions. One thing that came to my mind and was that the offer is made by the state to help us do analytics on our own traffic situation as we see it in Waimānalo. I think we should take advantage of this and see if there isn't something that is evident in the data that the state owns that would be useful to us to guide our thinking on any potential changes.
Yeah. So yeah, Chair Kane, just discuss it with your board members, and if folks vote to request this DOT to assist, we can do that.
Mahalo nui. Thank you. Senator Lee, did you have a comment?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Thank you. Go ahead.
Well, thanks. Thanks, Casey. I want to follow up on just two things. One for the Vision Zero implementation, depending where the conversation goes with those two crossings with the speed tables. Is part of that discussion putting in sort of the actual buttons pedestrians can press to signal drivers that there's somebody about to cross, especially at night, because it's really, really hard to see over there when you're going faster than you probably should be, which is how we've had a lot of fatalities in the past.
Oh, sure thing. I mean, again, the board can discuss it, and if they want a rapid rectangular flashing beacon, we can talk with our traffic branch. Sure, no problem.
Thanks. Awesome. And then the other one was, I know Martin had been working on this for some time and went out and talked with a bunch of the neighbors along that same stretch, putting in trees to shade the sidewalk area that runs the pathway that runs along there, because it's basically like super difficult if you're like kind of a slow walker or kupuna or whatever. You're basically baking the whole time. Is there an update on where that's at with DOT? I think we're still waiting on some sort of next steps there.
Oh, okay. Did the board, I guess, vote on where they want the trees and?
No, there was about a year's worth of work done. So different property owners were identified who requested in front of their homes along the way. And then we had been in contact with, I forget who it was, somebody who retired from DOT who was initially working on it.
Okay, if I can get information or what was the plan, or that would be great. Then I can take over the follow-up on implementation with our maintenance crew. Just need to know what was agreed upon plan. I mean, we're in front of each of the private properties.
Yeah, I can forward some of that, a follow-up maybe tomorrow or something.
Sure, that would be great, Senator.
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks, Chair.
Sure.
Yep, mahalo. Anyone else, public? We have a question. Is a speed table the same thing as a speed bump?
It's not. A speed table, they call it a table only because as you have on the, I guess it slopes up, then it's a flat table or like a crosswalk that's about 10 feet wide, and then it slopes back down. A speed bump is like a round, a cone shape where there's on the top of the top peak is not flat. It's just a round curvature. So that's the difference.
Thank you for that clarification. Seeing no one else in online, sir? Yep. Anyone in public, please introduce yourself.
My name is, excuse me, my name is Ray Cabrera, and I just live right down the road here, about a mile north of here. And I've been corresponding with
Yep.
Casey Abe and
Yep.
Senator Lisa here also regarding a speed hump or a speed table somewhere between Kumahau and the Eastern. And they encouraged me, or Casey encouraged me to request it here at the board meeting if they could look into that and putting a speed hump in that area where our neighborhood feels there's a lot of speeding over there. And I take the bus frequently. I have to cross to the Mackay side to get on the bus. So either a crosswalk or a speed hump would be beneficial.
Yeah.
Mahalo nui. Thank you for raising your concern with us. Ted,
Yeah,
can you
so-
make a note of that, Ted, and see if we can have a discussion on that at our next meeting?
Will do.
And just clump that in with the two recommendations from this evening. TJ?
Yep.
Hello, Mr. Abe. First of all, thank you so much for telling us about your vacation. You did not have to share, but I appreciate your commitment to our community and letting us know that you'll be here in December. One of the things you addressed was trash. I agree. I am proudly married to a rubbish man who's been in the business for many, many years. So any paina that I have, we have trash bags all over. So whether it's a trash receptacle, the more that there's a trash can, that's the better that we can take care of our opala. I highly suggest instead of writing mahalo, so our Malahini think that mahalo means trash, which it actually means thank you. It might be a good job to say opala and then write trash and then make an infographic of what trash would look like. In regards to speeding, I live in the Pumaniu. I don't know who that belongs to. I know it's DHHL. Everybody wants to point fingers at everybody else. We have 25 miles per hour. That is too fast. I left the house this evening because there's keiki. I went 20. That is too fast. I would think that 10 miles in the evening when there's new babies on the road and kupuna who have to chase them would be appropriate on my street. I also, at the end of that street, there have been multiple accidents. I kindly request maybe, I don't know, a convection fish eye bubble so I can see if somebody is flying down Kumuhao. I know that there was cause for concern thinking that the sun would affect our eyes. Well, unfortunately, that's not the case. the sun comes up on the other side of the street. But if there was something where I can see, the only time I can see if somebody is flying down that road is if it's the evening, because I can look at lights. I have teenagers who are learning how to drive, and I yell at them every time I'm in the car to make them pause just a little bit. In regards to speed tables and speed humps, I do like that, especially in front of Haleopuni, there is whatever that bump is, because pedestrians are there, it causes people to slow down and stop, especially if someone is walking past. My children know better than to look on their phone when they're walking, because they're going to get hit. They're not Harry Potter, they will get hit. So some of our pedestrians, be it whatever it is, they sometimes aren't paying attention. If you see one on the side of the road waiting, if you're from Waimānalo, most of us will stop and we'll wait and make the other person stop. Some of the issues we have in Waimānalo has nothing to do with our residents, as it are other people in different communities driving through because they don't want to go through traffic, through Hawaii Kai, all the way through to Kailua. So I think Waimānalo can stay Waimānalo, and if I stop and let everyone out, I will let everyone out and say mahalo with my hand. Analytics, thank you, Ted Risen. You're absolutely right. And if you want analytics, you ask any kupuna who is home and they will tell you where people speed. As for trees, I'm not opposed to any tree anywhere. If that's your private land and you want a tree, great. You know, maybe you don't want a rubbish tree that can't be used, but a fruit tree would be wonderful. Maybe a guava tree. We could eat guavas. And I think that's it. I'm sorry for taking up your time. I'm a busy mommy. I have 5 minutes, but mahalo for Waimānalo Board for always allowing our community members to have a say.
Mahalo, TJ. Thank you for your feedback. I also noted 2 additional comments in the chat, and I've requested that those comments be moved to our November meeting for discussion. One, just adding a speed table near McDonald's on Aloiloa and Hihimanu, and or reflectors, and or just to improve. I think that was a part of a previous recommendation, so we'll take a look at that. And then additionally, a question about impact and impeding emergency response times with the influx of speed tables, etc. So very, very important discussion that will move into our November meeting. So mahalo nui for providing those as well. Any other questions for DOT, please?
Good evening, Mr. Abe, Kanala, Kamala Nilai, Neighborhood Board Member. I was wondering if the Department of Transportation could give us a little history on why our families that are traveling towards Kailua Castle Medical Center cannot make that right turn into that neighborhood. I know a lot of our new drivers, our teen drivers, are not allowed to turn there during a certain school hours. I was wondering if the Department of Transportation can give us the history of why, and maybe to see if we can try and adjust it so more members can make that right into the neighborhood instead of going all the way around the neighborhood, which will allow more congested traffic between Waimānalo and Castle Hospital. And then one more question. I think it's from our prior discussion and recommendation to putting dividers or reflectors. My 8-year-old daughter just let me know today that by Waimānalo McDonald's, a driver in a white truck jumped up on the polo field sidewalk and almost rammed all 3 of my kids off their bicycle. So I'm asking if the neighborhood board and Department of Transportation, if we can find a way to safely secure the polo field sidewalk for runners, kupunas, and bicyclists, because I would not want to wake up to a phone call from EMS or HPD. Mahalo.
Okay, can you email me that location of that right turn you mentioned?
You know, I can give the 10-second answer on that if you'd like.
Yes.
I think the 10-second answer is good for tonight, but a follow-up is still requested. So Senator, if you have information from the Kailua perspective, yes, please do.
Yeah, basically the issue goes back almost 20 years, and that neighborhood has a lot of kids and families living in it the same way that we were just talking about Waimānalo neighborhoods not wanting cars cutting through and speeding. So repeatedly over many years, there were requests from that community to shift the traffic that's going through there at key times for safety reasons.
Mahalo.
Thank you, Senator.
Okay, seeing no other comments or hands, we're gonna go ahead and, you have a DOT question? Okay. Mahalo.
Aloha, Kalani Kalima, Waimānalo. Okay, so that's true. Yeah, that's been going on for a while. But why is it the turn that goes into Maunawili, that's at 7:30, and then those that's going into Kailua High School is at 8? Because truthfully, they can go down, they can take a left and make a U-turn and make that turn. So if you can kind of expound on top of that, please.
Is that an added comment to the DOT's response or?
Well, that's what she was asking because
Yeah.
that turn into Kailua towards Kailua High School. I know Chris was talking about at one time making a bypass road a while ago, and she just asked about the 8 o'clock, but that's no different than, so they allow the parents is going to Maunawili Elementary to turn in after 7:30, but if you're going to Kailua High School, it's after 8. Both of them is right across the street. Both of them got plenty children and families. So why the discrepancy?
Mahalo for clarifying. Senator Lee, you have a response to that?
No, I don't know why the times were set the way they are, but we can follow up. And
appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Mahalo, Uncle Kalani. I also want to add, I do feel like Department of Transportation and our community has been increasing with safety, and maybe even if it's just a speed table being implemented right there, or even reflecting lights. I believe if we can get a report back in November, we can definitely go over options and just try to conversate and have transparency to allow more accessibility so that kids can get to school on time. Mahalo.
Noted. Mahalo. Casey, thank you so much for that. We'll send you a wonderful list of things that we'll follow up on with regards to some of the discussions this evening. And we will recess in December, so we'll see you in January, if anything. But if you do have the ability to respond, at least through a report and email, that would be helpful. Otherwise, we'll look forward to our time in January.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening. All right, members, we're going to move on. We listed the 4 vacancies, but we are in the process of adjusting the vacancies to be at large to go before the commission. So I'm going to defer that unless there's any one present who is here to fill one of those vacancies. Seeing none in person. Anyone online to fill a vacancy on the neighborhood board? Okay, we're going to defer those items. Again, we are looking to recommend the change from sub-districts to at-large positions to help with recruitment. Mahalo. We're going to move on. Waimānalo Elementary and Intermediate School is not present this evening. Blanche Pope Elementary, not present. Malama Public Charter School. Mahalo for being here. Is that Denise or is that going to be you, Cappy?
Aloha. Kalamai, I think
Aloha.
my audio visual was not working so well. Aloha mai kako. May I share my video? Is that okay? Or a
Yes.
PowerPoint?
Go
Okay,
ahead.
mahalo. Okay. Can everybody see? Let me check.
Yes, we're good.
Sharing. Okay, mahalo. So mahalo nui board and Chair Kimiona for allowing Malamahunu to share again, and mahalo to Kumuke Kapi for always being able to share. So it's nice to be able to join everybody this evening. One of the olalo no'eau that we are asking our haumana to think about and reflect on as we move to the end of the trimester and our trimester 1 ho'ike oke kahua mamua mahope ke kukulu. So when the foundation is solid, then we can build. So they've been working on really learning about their mo'okuauhau, who they are, where they come from, the mo'olalo of the different areas that they're learning about, more about their own ohana and connection to Aina. We are excited to be able to be celebrating their learning in November. But before November, I wanted to share that we recognize Piko Owakea on September 19th. It's on September 22nd. An image of our whole kula. As many of you know, we're on 3 locations, and so it's only on special occasions that we get to all join together in celebration of this time of equal day and equal night, and also in recognition of that time to set goals and think about this being a very reflective time. We had our student-led conferences right before fall break, which was on September 30th through October 2nd, where our haumana of all ages from kindergarten through 8th grade reflect on their learning and share with their ohana how they're doing it at school and what their goals are, both for all, their academic, their how they want to live aloha. They set goals around how they would like to make their kula and their community better, as well as a cultural goal for themselves. So that was held on September 30th to October 2nd after, in reflection after Piko Wakea. I wanted to be able to highlight one of our Papa this month, which is Papa Elima. Many of you know that this is our class that does the 5th grade defenses. In preparation, they are setting their foundation, their kahua, by doing mo'i walks and learning about mo'i. They did one at Royal Hawaiian Shopping Center and then the other through downtown, learning from experts in the area about the ali'i and the powerful influence that they have, and get to gain inspiration as they get ready to share their stories and advocate for what they believe in. They also learn, this is some images of science for them, and they learn about the mahina and how does this actually work with the sun and the moon. And so this is an image of their learning in science. And then also as they get ready to prepare for their kihe, they are making kukui nut oil. So there you can see them osterizing the kukui nut, and they're going to be making their oil for their dyes. I also wanted to highlight some learning that happened over fall break this past week. Representatives of our older haumana from Kula Waina, Vaina decided that they send a few of their representatives to this opportunity at Kamehameha schools. They got to meet up with their older peers, and it was an opportunity to work with haumana from middle school all the way to high school in a variety of different kula from across the Pai'aina. And while the haumana were learning around about history, as well as you can see some images, they had an aipono class as well as a lauhala making class. Their kumu on the other side of campus were also engaging in learning with kumu across the Pai'aina. Some important dates for us as we look forward are a small group of our haumana will be going to the State Farmers Union Conference in Kona. We have a career day on the 31st. More information will be coming out, but bingo for books with PID will be sharing out. Many of you participated or learned about our mau that Kumu Hule Anuhea Awochan helped us to pull together our books highlighting Waimānalo. Community members and Mo'olelo will be launched on November 6th. So we're excited to be able to share out the books. And so keep that on the radar. We'll be putting things up online to give you more information for that opportunity. And then Malamohunu will be celebrating our first trimester Ho'ike at WCC on November 8th. Okay, Oya Valeno.
Hola, mahalo nui. Thank you so much, Po'okumu, for being here. Just in the interest of time, members and community, if we do have questions, we're going to ask you to send them in by email for these conversations with regards to the community partners for the evening. So mahalo nui for your time and your service. Thank you, Denise. We're going to move on to Winter Community College. Chancellor Artis. Mahalo for being here, Chancellor. The time is yours.
Aloha mai kako. Mahalo, Chairman Kane and members of the board. Thanks for giving us time today. I want to thank everyone who came out for our Paniolo barbecue. It was a great success. We saw lots of people from all over the Ko'olau and a little bit beyond too. We had such a fun time celebrating with community. I know that board member Kuike was there with his family. It was just a great day to be with people we loved. I, this week on Thursday, we'll be hosting 233 high school students from across the Ko'olau for a makahiki practice. It's not quite makahiki time yet, but they're all coming to campus to practice makahiki games in preparation, and that's going to be really fun. We recently had our accreditors visit us, and no final report yet, so I don't want to count chickens before they're hatched, but it seemed to go pretty well. So I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful for all the support this neighborhood board has shown us. It was really a great visit. And part of that was because our community was obviously a part of our planning, our decision making, and helping us to grow as a college, for example, getting positions and starting programs. So thank you for that. And then finally, if you have someone in your family who's a current student or wants to be a student, this year, our registration system will be down from December 11th till January 6th for registration. Not my decision, obviously. It's a system level decision due to a technology issue, but we're really encouraging people. Everything opens the first week of November. And if you can register early, that's the best way so that classes don't get canceled or filled or you're unable. And as an incentive, we're planning a banger of a concert for December 5th. Details not quite announceable yet because we're still contracting the performers, but reggae for sure. On the Great Lawn. And anyone who has registered with their home campus is WCC. We ain't helping you if you're at Kapiolani, Leeward, anywhere else. We love you, but there's just not enough space for everyone. So anyone who's registered for spring classes by December 1st will be getting a ticket to the concert for free. And it should be a lot of fun. So I hope I get to see a lot of people there too. Mahalo.
Chancellor, thank you so much. Again, members and those that are joining us, if we do have questions or comments, I'd ask that we send them directly to the Chancellor. We're happy to coordinate some of that response as well. But congratulations, Chancellor, on a well-attended event, and we are mahalo you for your service. Thank you. We're going to move on to the University of Hawaii College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources. Do we have anyone from CITAR? Hearing none, moving on, Hawaii Job Corps. Auntie Julie, thank you for being here.
Good evening, everyone. Julie Dugan, Hawaii Job Corps. We're just continuing to let the community know that we are open. You know, in June when we had that temporary closure, people haven't gotten the word that we are open, fully enrolling. But just a reminder that we are doing tours for interested applicants and their family members, school counselors, every Thursday at 9 o'clock. We also lost quite a few staff during that time, so we're rebuilding our personnel team. We're a 24/7 day a week operation, so we have plenty of openings for residential advisors, recreation advisors, security, drivers, an academic instructor, a registered nurse. So my contact information is on the agenda. Please reach out to me, and thank you for your continued support.
Auntie Julie, thank you so much for making time. Mahalo for your service. We're going to move on, members. We have the Waimānalo Health Center. Jasmine?
Aloha, thank you for having me.
Mahalo.
Jasmine Lacey. Just a couple of brief announcements. One, our free smoking cessation program. Just wanted to share a reminder that we have that program open to anyone that's wanting to quit cigarettes, e-cigarettes, vaping, Juul. That's a program we have. You can just call our main line at 259-7948. I know headed into the holidays and the new year, that might be something people are considering. Lastly, hiring. We are hiring as well. We have positions in outreach, dental, medical, human resources, cultural health, and other areas. So I'll put our link in the chat to our careers page. And those are my announcements. Mahalo.
Jasmine, thank you so much for your service. Mahalo for being here this evening. We're going to move on, members, to Waimānalo Homestead Association. Do we have anyone from Homestead Association this evening? Hearing none, moving on. We have the Bellows Air Force Station. Hearing none. Marine Corps Base, Hawaii. Hearing none. Hawaii Army National Guard. Hearing none. Okay, we're going to move on to resident concerns and announcements. Again, due to time, we do want to ask everyone to just manage their time as we move through quite a bit this evening. We're going to start with Project Dana. Do we have Madison here this evening? Hearing none. We're going to move to Christy with our midwives law update. And then Mr. You're going to be up next, Mr. Silva. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I skip someone? Okay. Christy? Not hearing Christy. While you get set up, Christy, I'm going to bring Mr. Silva up to present your announcement and concern, sir. And then we are going. Who is that? Okay. Mr. Silva, please, the time is yours. Can we silence our mics, please, if you're not speaking? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Informative evening tonight, and really appreciate the democracy in action.
Yeah,
Love it.
mahalo.
Okay. I'm here to express my concern about the, it was mentioned a little bit earlier tonight, the surveillance cameras and towers that have been erected on the Kaiwi coast from Hanauma Bay to Makapu'u. Specifically, they're at the lookout, Lanai lookout, the Halona blowhole, and then at Makapu'u Lighthouse. I noticed them when they were erected. I saw them in the day passing by. I said, "What's going on there?" And then at night, coming back, there's strobe lights, blue and white strobe lights. Now, I have like a bunch of things to say about it, but I just want to speak evocatively as I can that the Kaiwi coast is kind of sacred. And we had like long fights to keep that coast safe, secure, and away from developers and everything else. And all of a sudden there's this stuff here. I mean, I remember Elvis Presley and Blue Hawaii and Burt Lancaster and that is an iconic coast. It's there's nothing like it. And all of a sudden there's blue and white strobes. Now I understand the police concern and our community concern to keep things safe and crime. And I would suppose that they're quite effective. However, they're quite effective from keeping everybody away, not just the robbers. They can trigger migraines, it's like, and it's very distracting and hazardous coming along the coast at night. I drive there almost nightly from town because I work in town. I take the Coast Highway. It's very distracting. Just before you get to the S curves, you get the strobe light, and when you get out of the S curves, you get the strobe light at the blowhole. I talked to the police and I talked to the contractor, and the blue and white strobes, all I'm objecting to is not the crime prevention part of it, or the capturing or, the recording of what's going on. What I'm objecting to is just the strobes at night, 24/7. I think they impact migratory birds. I think it is also, okay, the most concern for me, but quite honest, is that it's the last dark sky on the southern shore from Waianae, Maile, all the way to Makapu'u, or all the way to Hawaii Kai. It's completely lit up. If you want to see the meteor showers, or watch the moon, or be with someone, just have a nice evening, it's just not fun anymore. The night vision cameras that are in there are quite effective at capture they don't need lights. Okay, so I'm only objecting to the lights. I'm not objecting to the crime prevention part of it at all. When I went to the police commission, the police chief said, well, maybe we can turn off the lights. Well, yes, let's turn off the lights. That's what I'd like to do. I'm not happy having those towers there. I think they could be better designed. I think they're quite and whatever. Third, I think those lights kind of like they give a false sense of security. If you're in trouble and you want to go to the blue light, I don't even like seeing blue lights in the residences because it's a false sense of security. I think it's performative. You know, there is no police there. There is no sanctuary. There is no safe harbor. Okay, so I object on that ground. I'm a pilot. When I land my plane, there are no strobe lights on the runway, but yet amateur drivers are supposed to go negotiate these curves at night with these blinding lights. Okay, so I'm sure these towers are effective at stopping crime. I'm sure they are. I don't know what they were before, what the crime rate was before at night, but I will say that there will be no crime at night if nobody's there. And I've been to, try to drive by. There's nobody at night there at these parking lots because it is an annoyance. So if there's nobody there, there will be no crime. So that's my challenge to the police statistic here. Nobody's, I'm certainly wanting a safe and secure place, and cameras are effective. These strobes are a hazard. That's my submission. Thank you.
Mahalo nui. Can you stay up there real quick, Mr. Silva? Lieutenant, you want to take any of these questions or you need time to follow up? And then I'll just ask very bluntly, Mr. Silva, what do you want us to do about your concern tonight? On the mic, please. Yeah.
My objective is to get community awareness to this, and I don't know how this thing even got started. I don't think there was an environmental impact statement done for this. I don't see how this can be an administrative action.
Got it.
Without input from us.
Understood. Thank you so much for your clarity. Lieutenant, thank you.
Okay, so this is a 6-month pilot project. So at the end of this, every night I come to these neighborhood board meetings, I fill out a report to our command. So your concerns will be duly noted on that. And I'm pretty sure at the end of the project, they can look at all of your concerns and we can work with the board, Waimānalo and the District 7 board members as to what they really want in their community and come to some mutual agreement there. Yep.
Mahalo for that response, Lieutenant. We'll follow up with the council member as well, just to make sure that we're consistent on that messaging. We'll reach out to the Hawaii Kai Neighborhood Board as well and see if they have a perspective that they'd like to consider.
I really appreciate your time.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Silva. Thank you. We're going to go back to our midwives law update. Christy, you can sign on now. And then from there, we're going to move to Mr. McGee. Is that correct? Thank you, Aaron, for an update on his project. So, Christy, the time is yours.
Okay, I'll go as quick as I can. Thank you so much for this time. My name is Christy Duarte, and mahalo Waimānalo Neighborhood Board for your active involvement with this issue and the resolution in support last legislative session. So real quick, I'll give a quick background for those who are not aware. In 2019, a law passed to require a license for midwives, imposing criminal penalties for anyone giving care or advice to a birthing person. There was a lot of controversy and opposition that legislative session, so a task force was created to address the areas that were not resolved. I was the chair of this task force, and each year the task force developed clear recommendations, but each year we were unable to pass the task force recommendations as legislation. Fast forward to 2024. In February 2024, a lawsuit was filed against the state of Hawaii by the Native Hawaiian Legal Corporation and the Center for Reproductive Rights. 5 months later, the judge ruled to partially block the law and end all criminalization and penalties against Native Hawaiian midwives. The lawsuit is still ongoing today. Now, 2025, this past legislative session was important because if a bill was not passed, the current midwife law from 2019, which was very controversial, would end, meaning there would be no licensure program for any midwives. This 2025 session began with 2 midwifery bills being introduced. One bill, HB 1328, was supported by the Waimānalo Neighborhood Board, the Office of Hawaiian Affairs, all neighbor island counties, and many others. The other more restrictive bill was not known to the community until the session started. This is the bill that became law. This bill, HB 1194, was introduced by Representative Ichiyama and Representative Martin. However, after many intense hearings, the final bill or law included, which is good news, some of the amendments that were supported by the Waimānalo Neighborhood Board and community advocates, including ACLU Hawaii, Native Hawaiian Legal Corporation, Hawaii Home Birth Collective, and Eahanau. In other words, the end result was a compromise. So what was the compromise? So prior to crossover, the House version of the bill gave more benefits to our licensed midwives, and the good thing was clearer protection for Native Hawaiian and traditional customary practices. Now, when the bill crossed over to the Senate expanded access to licensure by including an additional apprenticeship pathway to licensure that is nationally recognized. The Senate also passed floor amendments at a third reading, removing criminalization of anyone who practices midwifery without a license. This removed the threat of jail time. Penalties that remained were fines of up to $1,000 a day per offense. Mahalo, Senator Lee, for your support in the Senate. It is very much appreciative. The bill did not go to conference, and at final reading in the House, of reps, 30% voted no because of the lack of clear exemptions. The bill finally passed into law without the governor's signature. So within the compromise, the new law did not include explicit statutory language for all exemptions. These exemptions are exemptions that the Waimānalo Neighborhood Board had supported in the resolution at the beginning of the session. But because this was a very big concern, Senator Keoho Kalole offered to organize a town hall that happened just this past week and provided an info briefing with all the executive directors from the DCCA, RICO, and PVL. It also had a time of Q&A. So this is important. And in closing, finishing this up, at this informational briefing, the PVL recognized that there is a broad spectrum of unlicensed practitioners who assist in births in Hawaii, and the executive director confirmed that these other practitioners, though their scope may slightly overlap into the midwifery practice, they are okay to practice as long as they do not advertise as practicing midwifery and do not advertise as midwives or as having a license. They recommended transparency to the community, which is important, this informed consent, making sure it's clear they're not licensed, the limitations they have, and being clear about the scope of work that they provide. So what was very important was most of the exemption language that the Waimānalo Neighborhood Board supported in its 2025 resolution is being recognized, allowing for everyone to have the right to choose who they want with them when they give birth. While this is not perfect, and it was an ending to the high tension legislative session, there's still a lot of work to be done, but right now, we just want to thank the board for consistently standing for the right of every woman to choose who she wants to attend during the very intimate and sacred moment of birth. So a good ending, some good news we just got last week. Mahalo for your involvement and just your support, and for always allowing us this space to be present in.
Mahalo, Christy. If there are actions that you wish the board to pursue, please do let us know. Thank you. Lieutenant, there was a question, I apologize, regarding the pilot project. Was there an end date that was noted? If you might, I apologize.
I believe the end date, it was a 6-month project which started at the end of August. I believe the end date is February.
Okay, noted. Thank you.
2026.
Understood. Mahalo. We're going to bring up Mr. Aaron McGee, Founder, Executive Director, Global Preservation Initiative, to speak on the Makapu'u Beach Park curation. While he's doing that, I just want to make a note, or prior to him doing that, I just want to make a note of the Charter Commission's push. The Honolulu Charter Commission is looking for proposals for revisions that can be submitted directly to them. There is a timeline for that, which is November 7th. So proposals are due by Friday, November 7th. There's some information in the chat if you guys are interested in that. But please consider taking a review of the Charter Commission's charter. And then we have a proposal before the board to recommend, and before the community really, to recommend to the City and County of Honolulu Parks Department dog-friendly beach parks. And so we will be requesting information from the community in our November meeting to have a discussion about it. Basically, no Waimānalo parks currently allow for dogs, and the City and County of Honolulu is seeking guidance on the potential to have more dog-friendly parks. With that being said, we will turn it over to Mr. McGee. Thank you for being here.
Aloha, thank you. So I'm Aaron, I'm the Executive Director of Global Preservation Initiative. We're a local nonprofit organization. For the past 3 years, we've been leading the restoration of Sand Island State Recreation Area and recently expanded into adopting Makapu'u Beach Park in partnership with the City and County Departments of Parks and Recreation. We just had our first community work day on Saturday with 66 volunteers, clearing invasive plants and removing litter. We'll be doing bi-monthly work days for a minimum of the next 2 years with the intention of continuing that, as well as hosting private schools and clubs in the interim in between those bi-monthly work days. But I just wanted to come here tonight to share what we're doing and if there's a way we can, work with community and get involvement, as this is a community space that we're working in. Mahalo.
Mahalo nui. Thank you so much for your update. Your information is listed on the agenda, but can you just, Aaron, can you come back and just maybe let people know how they can connect with you if you have any socials or anything like that?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You can look us up online, Global Preservation Initiative, on our website or our social media, and that's where we'll have opportunities to connect with us or join our community events.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for your service. All right, gang, we're going to move on. We have a few others that were not listed. So we have the Christmas parade starting, and then we'll move to Mr. John, who has an exciting update, and then we'll go to folks that are online. So Leala, mahalo.
Aloha, mahalo for the neighborhood board for giving us the time. I'm Leala Cook, a resident of Waimānalo, along with Kalani Kalima. We are both here to share what we have for the holiday season for our community of Waimānalo to enjoy our 33rd annual Community Waimānalo Christmas Parade, which will be held on Saturday, December 13. It will start on Humuniki and Kalanianaole Highway and end at Waimānalo Beach Park. Everyone is welcome to join. Schools, nonprofit organization, businesses, bands, equestrian units, all welcome to be a participant in the parade. It's a family event for everyone to enjoy. And it normally starts at the district park, where most of the floats and motor vehicles will be staging in the beginning portion. And then all the walkers and bands and equestrian units will be starting by Humuniki Street. We will also have refreshments at the end of the parade at Waimānalo Beach Park. Thank you to Nakipi and Auntie Blanche. They will be donating all the food for the participants that will be participating in the parade. If you're interested in partaking and being a participant in the parade, please contact myself. My email address is hawaiipowriders with an S @gmail.com. I will be putting out a banner out soon in front of my house on Kalanianaole Highway by I Love Nalo. We will have 3 announcing stands. One will be at Jack in the Box, one will be at I Love Nalo, and one will be at Waimānalo Beach Park. Hawaii Power Riders are the nonprofit organization that sponsors this parade. And I'm very blessed to have been with this parade from a young age and took it over from my parents, John and Lita Cook. So I've been doing this parade since 2003. since the passing of my parents. And I appreciate everyone in the community for coming out and enjoying this big celebration that we have annually. Because we don't have the Waimānalo Christmas Parade, but this is something that everyone enjoys. And, you know, it's also those that outside of the community is welcome to join. So this year, I also have Kalaheo High School band that will be joining us this year. And also our representatives, you guys are also, you folks can participate as well. And we are also looking for donations as well, donations for candies to pass out throughout the parade, because we do have a Santa Claus at the end of the parade, and also getting equipment that we need for signage at Town and Country and one by Makapu'u. So there's a lot of things that we need to partake and pay for to have this parade. So donations is greatly appreciated too as well. So if you need to contact me, my phone number is 808-561-6580. My name is Leala Cook. I am the president of Hawaii Power Riders and the parade chairperson. Mahalo. And I would like to introduce Kalani Kalima, who will be doing the Waimānalo Ho'olau Lea right after the Christmas parade at Waimānalo Beach Park.
Okay. Aloha mai kako, Kalani Kalima, native son of Waimānalo. Mahalo nui for your continued support and partnership with Nakuaina Waimānalo, which is a nonprofit that's been involved in many Waimānalo things. I see a lot of people has been a part of that too. So without these large scale things that help our community to reconnect to one another, we don't have a lot of athletics coming through Waimānalo with gym and everything else. So how do we kukulu kaiaulu? How do we build our connections, our pilina, our relationships? We utilize things like the Christmas parade. And I felt that was an opportune time for us to utilize the ending. So this is going to be our second year at Makalehua Waimānalo. Makalehua named it that because we want to take control of the narrative. And that is, there's so many disparaging things that can happen inside of our community. So how do we make it positive? Yeah, how do we make things so that we can have our community and our kupuna, our schools and everybody else come together, not necessarily just in the spirit of kukulu kaiaulu, but to honor our kupuna. So we're going to be honoring a bunch of our kupuna. I'd like to reach out to, like to mahalo Rep Martin for your kokua last year, and our council member Kia Aina for having those conversations to allow us to provide one of the large scale events for our community to get together. It's about building resilience. Yeah, so we're looking at 5 parts, and I was reminded of the importance of a 6 part, but it's about education. So this will be our 5th year providing the Heud Kalima scholarship for our Waimānalo community members that graduate from Kailua. We are looking to partner with artists, Eschenberg, HCC, LCC, UH West Oahu, and UH Manoa, and any others, so that we can help our community members that's not ma'a to filling out all of those different paperwork and to get their kikis out there. We're looking to partner up with our unions, like Uncle George Paris and the Iron Workers, looking at IBEW and the union electricians and others, so that for those that's not heading towards the kind higher education, that they can utilize their God-given talents of working with their hands. We're looking to partner up with Waimānalo Health Center, Castle Hospital, Keola Mamo, Queens, and others, including the Cancer Center at UH Manoa, so that we can provide medical and mental health services for our community. No kupuna should ever have to wonder whether they're going to pay for food or medication. Not now, not ever. The next one is bringing in Hawaii community assets and Hawaii community lending so that we can focus on top of home ownership. We understand that in order to have a stable society, we need livable wages. Yeah, we need to provide these opportunities so that our people, majority of our community is in Hawaiian Homestead. Yeah, so what is the kuleana of becoming a beneficiary and being able to maintain these houses? You guys pass my grandfather's house every single day, I'm pretty sure. And it's all basa. Yeah, so how do we change that? Change the look so that we can change the mindset of our kiki and our people always feeling helpless. Yeah, we got to take that. Yeah, so please join us December 13th, yeah, from 12 o'clock to 6 p.m. We will be having entertainment. We'll be honoring kupuna. We'll have vendors, service providers, and many others. And we too, just like the Hawaii Pa'u unit, a nonprofit, we'll be looking for donations. So we'd like to mahalo Kako'o Iwi for helping us out, Iron Workers for helping us out, for Wayne Kaiwi helping us out. But we're also looking for kokua abroad. And so if you guys know of any service providers, would love to partner up with you folks. All of our representatives would like to partner up with you folks. Our community members and everybody else would like to partner up with you folks. But mahalo nui for your time.
Mahalo Leala. Thank you, Kalani.
Last but not least, I just want to say the application for the parade will be on November 30th. And we will have our mandatory meeting here at the library conference room on December 3rd at 6 p.m. So please bring the family, those who want to come and join us. It's just a fun event for Keiki and Kupuna. Mahalo.
Mahalo Leala. Thank you. All right, gang, we're going to move on. We have Mr. John. Thank you so much, sir.
Aloha, ai.
Aloha.
My name is John Knox. I live down near Bobby's in the beach lots, a stone's throw from Ted Ralston. Ted, I'm sorry I didn't tell you I was going to be here tonight. Maybe you'd be here tonight for this. My statement is going to be slightly off-key musical. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Neighborhood Board 32. Happy birthday to you. You're now 50 years old. The first neighborhood board meeting was in early October 1975. I am celebrating this event by bringing you a birthday cake, which I presume everybody will get a chance to carve up a little bit. I am not certain that I am the sole surviving member of the original neighborhood board, but I took it on myself to represent some of those folks for you. And I'm looking at some of the younger ones of you. We live in uncertain times. I don't know what's going to happen in 50 years, but if this institution survives for another 50 years, your turn. Tag, you're it. You got to do it next. And there's probably a little bit too much cake for what we've got here, but I'm going on a trip. So one of the burdens of leadership of the chair is you have to decide what to do with the thing.
Yeah, thank you. If we can give Mr. Knox a round of applause. I appreciate your service, Mr. Knox. Thank you so much for being here and for recognizing the importance in the system. Clearly, as this community acknowledges, a lot of what we are able to do today come off of the work of our community members that have served this community for many, many years. And so I want to mahalo you for this kind gesture of appreciation and acknowledgement. We serve humbly, as I'm sure you did, as I'm sure many of our communities members have done over the years. And so that is quite an achievement, and we recognize your recognition of that. Thank you. Have some cake. Please, somebody have some cake. Start passing it out. Sure.
Thank you, Member John. I really appreciate it. I thought it was a personal happy birthday to me, but I'll take the 50 years. And I hope
Your birthday today too.
it's on Friday. So I was
Then
like,
not your birthday today then. That's not your cake,
I'm
girl.
85. So I hope we can represent you well. And I look forward to seeing how this neighborhood board grows. So thank you
Hola.
so much for allowing us to have that history and that identity and that way to ground ourselves on how we can continue to represent. So mahalo, John.
Mahalo nui. But please, can you go cut the cake and pass it out to Kanala? Thank you. That's okay. Just got 'em. Jis karam. Sorry, that threw me off. Excuse me. So while cake is being served at the generosity of Mr. Knox, we're gonna move. Do we have anyone else in person that is here to present a community update? Hearing none. Okay, we're gonna move to folks online. I have listed here, starting with Laura and the Aloha Animal Outreach, and then we're gonna move to Auntie Barb. Laura, the time is yours. Mahalo for being here. Sorry, Laura, can you unmute real quick? Nobody's listening. Kalamai.
You would think. Aloha
Thank you. Thank you.
again.
Aloha.
I just wanted to announce that this Saturday, October 18th, the vets will be there around 8 a.m. There will be a spay and neuter clinic at Auntie Blanche's Hui Mahiai Aina at 41-902 Olu Olu Street. It is open to all low-income families. Bring proof of status, whether it be Quest, SNAP, or Section 8. It is a free surgery, cats or dogs. We will also do a free microchip and vaccinations. And if we have time, we'll also do their nails and stuff while they're asleep. Please do not feed their animals after midnight that day. Do come early. It will be just a line of people and we just keep going, and it's a really beautiful day. So if there's anybody interested in even volunteering, any children who are passively interested in being vet techs or any kind of medical care or pet care, come meet us. If there are any questions, they can email alohaaffordablebbusiness@gmail.com. It is about 3 or 4 different local businesses that do this. They volunteer to come together once a month, and it's around the island. And this month will just be in Waimānalo.
Thank you so much, Laura, for the update. We really appreciate it. Mahalo. Auntie Barb? Auntie Barb, are you there? You can unmute if you are wishing to share this evening. Okay, not hearing from Auntie Barb, but we will, if she does have the ability to come on later, we will do that. Okay, we're gonna move on. We have anyone else online that is wishing to provide community update or concern? Beautiful. Hearing none, we're going to move on to our elected officials report, starting with our council member, Esther Kiaina. Council member, thank you for being here. And mahalo to your staff for passing out cake. Mahalo.
Aloha and good evening, everyone. Just wanted to give a couple of updates. I do know that Chair Kane, during our last neighborhood board meeting, was of course raised the issue of protocol and communications during emergency evacuations. As I mentioned, the Public Safety Committee for the City Council had a July 29th, I'm sorry, we had a September 29th hearing with various officials relating to lessons learned from the tsunami evacuation. We're going to be putting in the chat box a link to that hearing, which I think would be helpful for people because we had all of the various agencies there, Department of Emergency Management, HPD, HFD, Department of Transportation Services, Department of Emergency Services, and the Honolulu Ocean Safety Department. I was equally concerned as the community with regard to what was perceived as lack of coordination all across the board. Thank God we did okay. But having said that, there were lessons learned. I have finally met with the director of the Department of Emergency Management, and we are going to be working within the next 6 months on a windward emergency preparedness town hall where we could take off of what the hearing had and talk about all various emergencies, not just disasters, and of course, inclusive of fire mitigation. So I will be working with all of the chairs and the board members. On September 30th, we had a panel discussion at Mission Memorial on the political history of Native Hawaiians for Hawaiian History Month. We are also going to be putting the link to that panel discussion, which included myself as well as Brandon Maka'ava and others, to talk about the political progress of Native Hawaiians at the state, federal, and international levels of government. The discussion had elaborated on some of the funding and legal threats our Hawaiian community is facing and pathways forward. The chair mentioned the deadline of November 7th for the Charter Commission proposals, and I encourage everybody who has something to say about any single agency to submit a recommendation. I myself am going to be looking at the aspect of historic preservation. As many of you know, we have a fund called the Clean Water and Natural Lands Fund. It's about 7 to 8 million annually, and we actually have been carrying over a significant amount of money. I would like to say in the $50 million range. It is a very difficult process for acquisition. I would like to say, because I think people would be interested in it in Waimānalo, is that we had 2 acquisition parcels in Maunawili for food security. And this was the acquisition of agricultural lands. Very often you think that this is only for preservation lands and conservation lands, but I'm trying to tell you it could be for the acquisition of agricultural lands. The 2 parcels in question will be basically, one is going to be over 100 acres, will be for kalo cultivation, and then the other would be for other food security plants. What I would be doing is I'm going to be proposing an amendment to the fund to allow for historic preservation efforts. It's a very, very difficult time for everybody. But if you look on the books at where projects are for historic funding, it's almost zero. And I feel that that's something that aligns with what we're trying to achieve. And so I just wanted to let you guys know that that is what I'm going to be proposing, and I will be asking for your support. I wanted to mahalo Chair Kane and the Vice Chair Koike for talking to me about Bellows Air Force Station. I've mentioned previously that I do not support continuing recreational activities there. And I believe that those lands need to be returned to the people of Hawaii. Of course, such a proposal with regard to the entity of who will receive it needs to be discussed, but I just wanted to let you guys know about it. What I have placed before each of the board members is a preliminary assessment of the land tenure, the documents talking about the land tenure history, which is quite complicated. At the end of the day, to me, no matter how it was acquired, whether it's part of the public lands trust upon the admissions into the union, or whether it was part of the 1.8 million acres of lands that was transferred in 1898 under the annexation resolution, or whether it was acquired through private hands, I really don't care. DOD, I'm not asking about the grounds that they're using for military training. I'm asking for something that should not be. Anybody who comes to Hawaii should be very fortunate, right? We share all of our beaches. That is not a two-way street. That doesn't happen. We don't have access to their beaches. So why is it that they have prime acreage here in Waimānalo, and on their social feed, they still have water activities, karaoke night, dancing, right? They have a restaurant, and I just think it's wrong. And so I'm still in the throes of completing our due diligence with regard to the land tenure. I'm working with the city's Office of Council Services. My next step is to finalize to make sure with regard to the chain of title with the Department of Land and Natural Resources. I'm working in tandem with them. And I am hoping that before the ending of the year, I will be crafting a resolution for the Honolulu City Council to be urging DOD to return the lands. Now, I'm not a newcomer to asking for lands back. I'm not doing this naively. I just, the time is ripe as DOD and the state of Hawaii are considering a lot of leasing arrangements that are occurring across the state. I feel that our community needs to rise to the occasion and for issues that are important to them with regard to military lands in their own communities, this to have their voice heard. And lastly, I'm working with Representative Martin. I know that there is the upcoming Kauhale project at the Weinberg shelter. I have heard from some of the staff there, and I intend on having a site visit with Representative Martin, and I know, and the homeless coordinator for the state. And I know that she will be talking to you with regard to what she is planning. And that is the my report for this evening. If you have any questions, you can ask me.
Councilmember, for your work. Do we have any members online who have questions for the council member? A bunch of comments in the chat. Yes, Kuike, we can send a copy home with you. Auntie Barb, thank you. No need to speak. Mahalo. Sorry, trying to catch up. Okay, I see no other questions there. Any members from the public here? Questions for the council member? Okay, hearing none.
Thank you. And again, but it has enough of the presidential and gubernatorial directive to be able to show. But I also, I will board members, but I could not.
Sorry, council member, one second. Try and I apologize.
Even email it to us, so we had to make sure that we printed it. But if your Google documents are able to withstand the what do you call it, that make, so if any community member had wanted to it, with these documents are quite valuable. And since it had been done with the idea of the chain of title, I just thought that it's important history for you as well.
Understood.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it, council member. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to move over to Senator Lee, followed by Representative Martin.
Hey, thanks. It's been a little bit. I've been on a number of work trips. This year's been crazier than most, I think, given the federal chaos and budget uncertainty and everything else. I've been mostly between Hawaii and DC and a couple other places. But a couple highlights from that I want to share. Well, I first actually want to respond to the gentleman who had raised the Kaiwi Coast lights issue. We actually had a couple folks reach out about that that I had spoken with just in the last like month or so, similarly. And so I sit on the advisory board for SOEST at the university, and so we've been engaging also some of our scientists who do a lot of the work in monitoring and various things out there to also get some answers. So I'll follow up with that as well. That said, one of the exciting things that we found on one of these delegations, we took our ag chairs and a couple other folks to New Zealand to look at a model that our fellow communities across the Pacific are using to save their invasive species, or not save their invasive species.
Senator?
Yes.
Sorry, you're jumping in and out, so I just want to make sure that you're connected. Okay.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Can you hear me now? Is this
Yep,
okay?
we're good. Yep. Go ahead. Try.
Yeah, I'll make this quick then. Basically, Hawaii has more endangered species than the rest of the mainland United States put together. A lot of them are our birds, as everybody knows. New Zealand has a project that has successfully been able to not only save a lot of their endangered species that were down to just a few mating pairs, but over the last 25 years, rebound those populations so they're really robust and healthy. And one of the things we're looking at is replicating those programs here in Hawaii for a lot of our forest birds and others that are on the verge of extinction. And I'll talk about this next time when there's a better connection and more time. But it's a really exciting opportunity. So that's something that's coming up this year. Secondly, we have been looking at a couple other ways that other states and other communities deal with vandalism in, beach parks, or not beach parks, but just parks in general, and bathrooms and stuff. And it comes down to design. And so we had a lot of great collaboration with a couple other places that have basically, for the most part, eliminated that kind of vandalism where people like break bathrooms and that kind of thing completely by changing the way they design them. So we'll reach out to the city as well as our state parks on that, because that will really hopefully go a long way to preventing a lot of that stuff. Finally, most of the time I've been spending, which has been taking me away from being able to attend the last few meetings, has been dealing with a lot of our federal issues. As everyone I'm sure is aware, there's a lot of federal money that comes to Hawaii and all states that is being cut by the federal government. It's unfortunate because it's money for healthcare services, it's money for transportation, it's money for local families, it's money to support our communities all around. And a lot of this money we've already paid for. This is coming out of our pockets that we're paying to the federal government in taxes that is now not going to be returned to Hawaii, but rather is going to go other places. So that's unfortunate. There's over $600 million in for example, clean energy projects that would have been reducing the cost of power for local residents that are not moving forward now, that are on ice. We're working on a number of fronts to secure alternative funding for various things like that. Our work that we've done collectively in Hawaii to protect Papahanaumokuakea and ensure the passage of all those islands and the marine resources to our next generation is under threat, as the federal government is now moving likely to petition to change that protected status and open it up to commercial fishing. There's a lot of other cuts to our university programs and things that are likely to start to impact Hawaii in the months to come. And there's just a lot that's been on our radar. So what I've been doing in particular, where there's some good news, I was selected by a lot of our fellow colleagues around the country to work on some of these issues. So I chair an organization of about 1,500 state elected officials working on many of these things around the country right now. And so we're looking at drawing down additional funding. So in fact, I was just in New York this last week. We were able to secure a few $1 million in funding for various projects. One of them we're working with Waimānalo Health Center on right now, with a company that's raising private money to do energy savings projects for Waimānalo Health Center and reduce their cost over the long run. There's the federal cuts that are coming, so this is really kind of an urgent thing. There's a few other things in the works there, but I'll maybe do a a summary that I can send out to the chair, who can pass some of that stuff on, so I don't waste everybody's time right now. But suffice it to say, this year, I think in the since I was elected, in all the years, this has been the most difficult for Hawaii with respect to our federal government and the support that's being cut out. And not only the support that's being cut out, but as we know, the challenges coming from folks tied in with the current administration, trying to undo Kamehameha School's ability to specifically serve Native Hawaiian beneficiaries, which could also undermine DHHL programs and housing for our families here. So there's a lot that's on the line right now. And it's going to be kind of an ongoing situation as we go into this next year. The legislature, when we convene in January, will have to start dealing with a lot of these ramifications, which is going to mean direct impacts to our communities and to things like our health centers and various programs. So that said, let me end with one other happy bit of news, which is we're in the process of getting the $2.5 million we put in for traffic safety and some other stuff in Waimānalo released, and to move forward. And part of that is also to connect in with starting the local LOI that our local organizations and schools can participate in, that we talked about before. So there's still some on the state side, good stuff moving along. But that said, happy to take any questions for the moment, and I'll summarize all that and send an email later.
Senator Lee, thank you so much for the update and work. Members online, questions for the senator? Seeing none, members present? Seeing none. Community members online? Hearing none. Members present? Hearing none. Senator, thank you so much for your presentation and work. We look forward to that written update. We're going to bring up Representative Martin next. Mahalo, Representative. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Hello, Hamai Kako. So I really appreciate Casey's work on making our highway safer. The young man who was killed a few weeks ago on the highway, he's my son's good friend, and it has certainly had a big impact on my ohana. He grew up and still lived just a few doors from me. So it's always a statistic until it's not. It's somebody you know, and then it really hits you how each of those numbers impacts, you know, all of the people in their lives. So I really appreciate the safety measures that DOT is making, but I also appreciate the community support for them, because I can't tell you how many places they really fight against every speed table, et cetera. Like in Kailua, people were in an uproar over the tables that were placed on the where all the churches are, which is where high school students cross the road when they take the bus. And I really was disappointed in my community in that instance, but I really appreciate the support of the Waimānalo community to make that highway a street, which is what it really is. It's a street through a community. It's not a highway. So thank you for that support of DOT. I also wanted to mention, Councilmember Kia'aina brought it up, but we have plans to expand the capacity of the Waimānalo Emergency Shelter, which is a former Weinberg Village. I've been talking about this for 2 years. I've been sharing it in mail to all of your homes last year and this year, putting it on social media, on e-news, but it was never a reality. It was just me wanting to expand that capacity. And it's only in the last few months that we finally got it in the budget. And so now that it is actually going to happen, we'd like to have a community meeting, and it's scheduled for right here in the library conference room for November 5th in the evening from 6:30 to 8:30. And everybody is welcome. I will do snail mail to the neighbors that live near that area. But for everyone else, it will just be, you know, I will use my normal channels of communication with e-news and social media, and I will tag other Waimānalo organizations so that it can reach as many people. I do want to say that it's really important to have places for our homeless to go. Having a safe place where you can lock the door and feel secure, have your possessions there, is the first step for many people to be able to take their medication, to be able to accept services, to have an ID and get on to a path towards independence. So I know that nobody wants to have more facilities in their community, and yet our houseless in Waimānalo are not going to go to Sand Island. They are not going to go somewhere else. This is their home, whether it's their home forever or their home recently. They love it here. They feel this is their home and they're not leaving. So we have got to provide safe places for them to be and get to a better place. So anyways, that meeting, I do hope all can attend and we can answer any questions you might have. The last thing I'd like to talk about is SNAP. Some of the federal changes are already starting to hit. People who receive SNAP, which is not a minority, a lot of people in Hawaii benefit from SNAP. A lot of our children benefit from SNAP. And families have already seen a reduction in $8 per month per person. And that's because the way that the basket of food called the Thrifty Food Plan is calculated, it's gone down the last 3 years. And not only has it gone down, but it will be frozen. So should there be inflation, it will not rise with inflation. So people need to start to plan for that reduced amount. And one way to cushion the blow is to update the files that people have with their rent costs, medical bills, childcare, because all that goes into the calculation of what your SNAP benefit is. And your SNAP benefit can be increased to account for those costs. So updating your files with DHS might be helpful. Also sign up for every type of benefit possible. Right, this past year in the legislature, we expanded the groups that qualify for free meals in school. And if you qualify for free meals in school, which you have to apply for, then you will also automatically qualify for Sunbucks, which is a summer program that we passed the year before. That is basically just a cash card for groceries to compensate for all the meals that your keiki are not getting at school during the summer. There's also WIC and the Bucks, which provides discounts at Foodland. So all those programs, anybody who qualifies, please use them, right? That's what they're there for. So yeah, I'll end with that. But the last thing, is our food bank. So we have 3 food distribution sites right here in Waimānalo. There's Hui Mahiai Aina, Auntie Blanche's place, also Waimānalo District Park. And then the third one is St. Matthew's Episcopal Church. So please take advantage of all these resources. That is exactly what they are for. And the food banks do not only do processed canned goods, they also do have some fresh produce. Thank you.
Representative, thank you so much for that update. Mahalo for sharing. Members online, questions for the representative? Seeing none. Members present? None. Community members online? Seeing none. Community members present? None. Representative Mahalo Nui, thank you so much. Do we have anyone here from the governor's office this evening? Hearing none. Anyone here from the Congress member's office? Hearing none. All right, we're going to move on, gang. Noting the time at 9:13, we're going to take a few of these board business items a little bit out of order, if I might, unless there is any other recommendation. But firstly, I want to address board business C. This is in regards to the neighborhood board plan, 3 absent notice for board member Brenda Wong, who's here in person. Does any of our, Brenda, you want to share anything? I mean, you don't have to, but you're welcome to.
Yes, I apologize for missing the 3 meetings. The first one, I was at a full-time camp where I was in leadership. The second one, I was in the Philippines. The third one, I got back from the Philippines and I thought that it wasn't the second Monday. So that was definitely a mistake. But I would like to stay on the board if it's possible.
Understood. Mahalo. Members, the decision making before us is this whether or not the board will take action to vacate the seat and or to maintain Brenda Wong on as a representative. Are there any recommendations?
This is Member Mokulehua. I recommend to keep Brenda on the board.
Mahalo nui. Thank you. Is there a second?
Canela, second.
Mahalo nui. Members, I recognize that there are 9 members currently present, but 8 voting. So for this one, we won't have member Wong voting. But members, there are 8 members present. Right now, it's been moved and seconded to maintain and retain member Brenda Wong on the board in her subdivision. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
A discussion.
Hearing no discussion online, I just want to mahalo member Wong for this. I every time this item comes up on our agenda, it is troublesome to me because I don't see this behavior anywhere else in governance. And so I think it's absolutely ridiculous that we put our community members through this particular process when they're volunteering their time. And so I just need that on the record. We need to find a way to figure out how to address this in a more in a way that still holds integrity for the incredible work that people have in their daily lives. And I just want that to be noted for the NCO, for those that are making decisions, that we've put several of our community members who have served this community well through this horrible process. And it is a feature of a function of the NCO currently, and I'm committed to changing it because it's not okay. With that being said, it's been moved and seconded. We'll close the discussion. Members in present in the position of aye, please vote aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any members nay? Any members abstain? Recognizing 8 members present and hearing no nays and no abstains, we'll go ahead and maintain your work on this board for this community and mahalo you for your service. Thank you.
Mahalo, everyone.
Moving on, members, we have several items before the board, which we're going to rush through quickly. First and foremost, approval of regular meeting minutes, Monday, August 11th. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Kuike, mahalo Kuike. Is there a second?
Second.
Ted Ralston seconded. Members, we're in discussion. Hearing no discussion. Moved and seconded. We are voting all members, 9 members present. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Recognizing 9 positives in the aye, 0 nays, 0 abstentions. We'll pass that motion out. Do you need me to do it different for you? Okay, you get them. Look at you. Moving on, we have an approval of the memorandum for the record, Monday, September 8th, 2025. To clarify, the memorandum for record was inserted language that recognizes that we were unable to take action on this particular item due to a lack of quorum. And that's why it's listed in that way. And so at this point in time, we will look for a motion to approve the memorandum for record for Monday, September 8th, 2025. Is there a motion?
So moved. Kuike.
Kuike, thank you. Is there a second?
Second. Ted.
Thank you, Ted. Members, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Yes, Chair. Can you clarify what the action was?
It is to approve for the memorandum of the record for Monday, September 8th, 2025. My understanding, quick, and we can have the NCO clarify, is basically they have to put a placeholder up for the public. And that's how they identify it. Because we were unable to take a note on it for that particular day, it was listed as that because of a lack of quorum. But basically, it is the meeting minutes as it is currently drafted. Is
Okay,
that
mahalo for the clarification.
okay? Great. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll close discussion. Members present are 9. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any nays? Any abstentions? Mahalo. Recognizing 9 members, ayes, 0 nays, 0 abstentions. We'll pass those approvals out. Thank you so much. Up next on our agenda, gang, is the consideration of the Kamananui Gondola Project Resolution. This was brought before the board by Chair Kathleen Pahinui. She is here for questions, comments, or concerns if there are any. However, we have had an opportunity to take a look at that resolution, and tonight we are taking a position on supporting their effort in their community. Members, we okay? Okay, sorry. We are looking for a motion to approve, supporting the resolution as drafted. Members, anyone?
So move.
Ted?
Yes.
Thank you. Ted with the main motion. Members, do we have a second?
Canela to second.
Mahalo. Canela, members, it's been moved and seconded. Any questions, discussion?
Yes, Chair.
Kuike, go ahead.
Can we clarify the position on the reso?
Yep, we sure can. Essentially, the resolution calls for asking the city and county of Honolulu to deny and revoke conditional use permits of Kaukonahua Ranch, LLC's Kamananui project on the slopes of the Waianae Mountains in the Moku of Waialua. That is the language as currently written and submitted by the Neighborhood Board 27.
Mahalo Nui, support.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none. We do have the chair here in person and the vice chair, I believe, was online. I mahalo you folks for making time. Chair, would you like to address the board or the community at this time? Are you sure? Okay. We're not worried about time. I mean, don't take 50 minutes, but yeah, if you have a quick update. You drove all the way out here. I think the least we can do is
I only
provide you an
came from
opportunity.
town. That's
Thank
okay.
you.
Really quick, they rescinded their original modification, but then they resubmitted a new modification. Still don't support it. Waianae and Nanakuli also both support it. So thank you very much.
Understood. Thank you very much for the update. Members, any other discussion?
Chair, question.
Question?
With Neighborhood Board 27, is there any suggestion on what this space could be utilized for or any future planning? If we don't
For the
want-
community, in some respects, we see this as a resource for cultural and Hawaiian practices. Thank you.
Okay. Mahalo.
Mahalo.
Good. Any other discussion, members? Hearing none, we'll close discussion. Recognizing 9 members present, we are in support of this resolution drafted by the North Shore Neighborhood Board, and we mahalo them for their service and advocacy. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Okay, excuse me, I apologize. Our action to support their resolution requires us to take a roll call? Okay, mahalo. Members, we're going to take a roll call vote. When your name is called, please recognize your position. Thank you.
Kamahalo Nui Lai.
Aye.
Thank you. Kamakea Ohelo.
Aye.
Thank you. Chair Connie.
Aye.
Member Makaila.
Aye.
Member McKee.
Aye.
Member Moku Lehua.
Aye.
Member Ni.
Aye.
Member Ralston.
Aye.
And Member Wong.
Aye.
Mahalo.
Thank you, Chair.
That confirms 9 members present for aye, 0 nays, 0 abstention. Mahalo nui for your advocacy, Chair. Thank you so much for being here. Members, we have 2 more items, and then the third, which was the parks discussion, consideration of good governance resolution and a position to support. There has been some discussion through the years of this. And so I do want to acknowledge that this has been a little bit out of date, I think, for us, area, since it was initially brought before the board. Members, you received that through the your emails. And so right now we are looking to take a motion of action. Is there any motion at this time? Members, any motions to take a position?
Chair, this is Quique.
Okay, yep, go ahead.
Chair, what are you seeking at the moment?
We are looking to support a resolution urging the legislature to adopt good government reforms as outlined by this team that was brought before us.
Mahalo. So moved.
Mahalo. Motion has been moved. Members, is there a second?
This is Mokulehu, I second.
Okay, we have Kuike with the main motion and Moyata with the second. Members, we're in discussion. Any discussion on this item? We do have a member here present from the team who can answer questions if you have them. Hearing no questions, comments, or concerns, we'll close the discussion. Again, a resolution, as we all learned tonight, requires a roll call vote, members. It's been moved and seconded in the support. So let's go ahead and take that vote. Mahalo.
Member Kamahaloha Nui Lai.
Aye.
Member Kamakea O'Hello.
Aye.
Chair Connie.
Aye.
Member Makaila.
Aye.
Member Maki.
Aye.
Member Moku Lehua.
Aye.
Member Ni.
Aye.
Member Ralston.
Aye.
Member Wong.
Aye.
9 votes, Chair. Adopted.
Mahalo nui. Thank you so much for that. Members, mahalo nui for your time and attention to that. And Aria, to your team, thank you folks for continuing to withstand and do the work that's necessary to get this moving. Members, our next item is consideration of the pesticides resolution. This was discussed back in, gosh, July? No. I think August. Gave us an opportunity to hear from Rep. Peruso's office, and they drafted for us an opportunity to support a pesticides resolution. Is there a motion on the table?
Chair, this is Quique.
Quique? Yep, go ahead.
What's the final position of the resolution?
The position asks that it be resolved that the legislature of the state of Hawaii prioritize comprehensive pesticide reform in the 2026 legislative session by requiring detailed pesticide use reports, strengthening enforcement with meaningful fines and penalties, and reclassifying harmful general use pesticides such as neonicotinoids. Apologies on that.
Yeah.
As restricted use pesticides to ensure transparency and accountability. Additionally, that the legislature expand pesticide buffer zones and establish them not only near schools, but also near homes, hospitals, parks, and playgrounds with strong enforcement mechanisms to protect keiki and immunocompromised individuals. That the state require regular soil and water testing to assess pesticide-related environmental damage and mandate that agricultural landowners disclose pesticides use, soil quality, and environmental impacts when selling property. And that the Hawaii Department of Agriculture, the Department of the Hawaii Department of Agriculture, Department of Biosecurity, and the University of Hawaii conduct research on emerging organic solutions, including, Metarhizium anisopile, to validate and expand the availability of sustainable alternatives to chemical pesticides. Those are the actions recommended. Thank you.
Mahalo, Chair. Further clarification, did the authors of the resolution identify the expansion or setback that they're seeking?
Mahalo for the question. We do have a representative online to assist with that discussion. Liv, are you available?
Yes, hi. My name's Liv. I'm from the Office of Representative Peruso. I'm currently interning. For our resolution, we are going around to different neighborhood boards and we are asking for their support for the expansion. Was this for the expansion of the buffer zones? Is that the question?
That's correct.
Yes, so yes, mahalo.
So for the expansion of the buffer zones, it's currently only around 100 feet around school, but pesticides can cross a mile. So we just wanted to also expand it to parks and hospitals. And we also wanted to follow with the lines of California. So hopefully expanding those buffer zones more than 100 feet to a quarter or half a mile.
Okay, and if
Mahalo for
there's
the response, Chair.
yes,
Chair, if I
go.
may.
Yep, please do.
Um, this is for Representative Peruso's office. I just want to say that I support the language as is, and if you guys would further expand or at least consider expanding the language to including waterways and or water sources and tributaries, so we can strengthen the laws around there. That's all I have, Chair, to add.
Okay, are
And then
you
I'm in support.
recommending we add that? Are you recommending we add that language into our review of this resolution? Because we can edit it.
You know what? At this point in time, the way I'm reading it, it's as strong as is, and pushing that through the legislative corridor is gonna be rough. So it's just my recommendation for consideration at any future point in time, Chair.
Understood.
For us, if you would entertain it, sure, but it's already 9:30 p.m.
Understood. Liv, is that something you can take back to your team for consideration?
Yes, I can take that back.
Mahalo. And if it does need to come back before the board with a reviewed or renewed position, please do let us know.
Okay, thank you.
Mahalo.
Chair,
Remember, yep,
just quick.
go ahead.
I move that we accept the current proposed resolution language as is, and we support it, push it through.
Mahalo.
Second.
Member, thank you, Ted. Members, we're in discussion. Hearing no discussion. Members, this is going to be a roll call vote. When your name is called, please go ahead and respond with your answer. Again, this is
Chair.
to support.
Chair, if I may.
Okay. Discussion?
Yes, I just want to put on the record, the reason why I support that and made the recommendations to expand in the language is because in the past 2 months, I've noticed all of Waimānalo Highway has been sprayed with poison. And usually, I see Auntie Sunday, picking up rubbish on the side of the road. And I try to get my keiki out, along the highway in front of the beach park, in front of Hunananiho, picking up rubbish. But because I saw whatever agency did, it's likely HDOT, sprayed in front of Hunananiho, I told my keiki, you know what, for the next couple of months, we're not going to pick up rubbish there because I don't want to expose you guys to that poison. And in addition to that, if you look right by Frankie's or LNL, that whole zone over there is decimated. Used to have guerrilla farming, kalo production happening right there, and it's no longer existent because everything was just chemically bombed. So that's why my recommendation to expand, the language and strengthen it to waterways and tributaries. Just mahalo for the opportunity to add that for discussion.
Absolutely. Mahalo for your advocacy. Any other discussion, members?
Chair.
Yep.
I just wanted to provide clarity. I did not have the privilege of reading this resolution. So I believe my vote will go based off of that.
Vote accordingly. However you feel you need to vote. Yeah. Noted. Members, when your name is called, please go ahead and acknowledge your position. Mahalo.
Member Kamahaloha Nuilai.
Aye.
Member Kamakia Ohelo.
Aye.
Thank you. Chair Kane.
Aye.
Member Makaila.
Aye.
Member Maki.
Aye.
Member Moku Lehua.
Aye.
Member Ni.
Aye.
Member Ralston.
Aye.
Member Wong.
Aye.
9 votes, Chair. Motion adopted.
Mahalo Nui Gang. That does acknowledge 9 members present in the position of aye, 0 nays, and 0 abstentions. Members, it is 9:33. I recognize that we are slightly over time. I do want to bring before the board the opportunity to provide a recommendation to the city as earlier announced. If anyone wishes to take that up for discussion, I'll look for a motion to add that to the agenda. This is regarding the updated movement of the lines for the project at the campground.
Chair, this is Kuike.
Kuike, go ahead.
I move to add it to the agenda.
Mahalo. Is there a second?
Second, Canela.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Members, do you want us to do a roll call vote for this too? No, it's just a recommendation. Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. So moved by Kuike, seconded by Canela. Members, we're in discussion on adding it to the agenda.
Chair, I just feel like not enough information about this moving of the line has been discussed with our neighborhood. So I do ask that we put it into the agenda so we can have more discussion.
Mahalo. Noted. Any other comments? Hearing no comments, we'll close discussion. Members, in the position of aye, please vote aye to add this item to the agenda. Aye.
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 Any members in the nay position? Any abstentions? Hearing none, we will consider the item added. Members, the item has been added to our agenda, at which time do we have anyone willing to take a position on a recommendation to provide back to Parks and the department?
Chair, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Is Director Thielen still available for questions?
I believe she is. I know she wasn't feeling it too well. I think she's still online, and I can shoot her a message to see if she might be able to answer questions.
Well, Chair, here's my question. I'm just going to put it here for our members in the community. What's the feasibility of both options or either options?
Okay, I apologize. The director is not going to be able to join us for this discussion. I just got an update from them. Sorry, quick. Can you repeat your question?
Yeah, my question is, what's the feasibility of either of the options? Yeah, to go with the originally planned and under the parking lot, or move the new trench or route around the parking lot. The director mentioned what the cost or cost difference would be between the two options.
Currently, no, there wasn't any directive that I understood as far as cost. Her main concern was recognizing the sensitivity of the original recommendation and then understanding that our community, our board has said, do not dig, essentially. She felt that digging up the parking lot would be a deeper depth, and that would be a cause for concern for us, obviously. And so what I understand is that the recommendation would be to follow the curbing in a shallower space, right along the curbing of essentially the current parking lot, and then follow the sidewalk essentially. So previously disturbed doesn't have to dig as deep as it would if it was underneath the concrete, the asphalt, excuse me. There was no cost estimates that were provided to my understanding and knowledge, but I think at this point they'll have an opportunity to consider that and then bring that in conversation if we want. Right now, she's just saying of these three options currently, which does the board want us or what wants to see happen? And beyond that, there was no other real commitment to information at this point in time.
All right. Mahalo for the response. I just want to note here, right? You know what, we're looking at the picture right now on the screen, and it looks like it's two-dimensional, flat. However, where the proposed route around the curbage is also an elevated area, yes, indicating that it was previously disturbed. However, you know, it's all a pu'u around there, so you know things could have been pushed off to the side to level out the parking lot area, and you know I'm sure that there likely will be discoveries. So no matter what we do here, it's all sensitive.
Agreed.
I yield back to you and the board chair as far as discussion goes. But mahalo for the response.
Yep, mahalo for that. Members, any other discussions? I know it sounds and seems like an almost impossible task to avoid, any kind of discoveries, as we all are very well aware of. And so I understand the challenges. Any other thoughts, comments, concerns? And we can set some, I'm sure we can set some recommendations, some strong recommendations.
Chair, just
Yep.
a comment for the record.
Go ahead, Lily.
Just wanted to, this is complex, but technically the land ownership for this area, yeah, is Department of Foreign Homelands. Even though it was site control was exec ordered over to what's now the city and county of Honolulu. So in understanding that this area is all sensitive, because of the length of time that it's been under government or public control, we don't have very extensive records on historic sites or burials in that area to make a determination in that way of like go left or go right. And then I also wanted to throw it on the table that technically DHL lands. So when there's inadvertent discoveries, most of us are ma'a to it going through the county process, city and county process, and through the burial councils. But in this case, DHL lands are seen as tribal lands, and so it would require a NAGPRA plan of action. So normally through the county process, we're ma'a to seeing a burial treatment plan, which says what to do for inadvertent discovery. In this instance, there should actually be a NAGPRA plan of action that talks about what to do for inadvertent discovery. Not anything we can really handle in this neighborhood board meeting, but did want to kind of take a note of that for Stephen to pass along.
Noted. We can make that clear as a stance in whatever decision we make this evening, even if it's none. I'm happy to pass that message along, but appreciate the update there. Any other discussions, members?
Chair.
Yep.
I just probably wanted to put on record that Iwi Kupuna was found on the location where the blue and yellow line is trying to show its pathway. So also taking consideration, even though today we have the Waimānalo beautification covering that area from the parking lot all the way to the Mulivaioleno River, there has been multiple Iwi Kupuna discovered with Ship D. So I do want to put that on record.
Understood. Thank you.
Mahalo.
We are at 9:42, members. I don't want us to be pressed by time, but I do want us to wrap up by 9:45 at the latest. So do we have any other discussion? If not, I'm going to ask for a recommendation. Okay, hearing no discussion. Members, any recommendation on this particular project to be provided back to City and County of Honolulu?
Okay, this is Kuge.
Kuike, go ahead.
A clear recommendation for me would be the path of least resistance. So what I mean when I say that is the path that is least invasive. From the presentation tonight and the prior presentations, that hasn't been indicated, or that's not clear to me, because there's been many presentations or conversations or discussions shared out, information shared by the contractors that, we're going to use the same footprint. That's a narrative. That's a narrative. That's a narrative because it's a sensitive area, sensitive place, sensitive people. my recommendation moving forward with this is the path of, again, least resistance. Now, I'm not confident that that's going around the parking lot and following the curbage. So my recommendation to you and the board would be for the city and county to push this project back and make those clear determinations on exactly what the work will entail, what the potential impacts will be, and then the necessary steps to prepare themselves, to have an more comprehensive plan. That way, the beneficiaries of the DHHL trust can weigh in. This wasn't the intended plan from the beginning over a year ago. So now that we're here in the 11th hour of the project being started, there's a potentially new plan or amended plan. I don't think this is the proper way to address this as far as a consultation with community. So that's my recommendation, Chair.
Recognize that position. Any members have a second to that?
I will second that.
Canelo with a second. Mahalo Kuike with the motion to defer this item of decision, recognizing the recommendations to provide back to the parks about timing, site reviews, NAGPRA, and some of the newer information to be considered and taken into consideration. And it has been seconded by Canela. Members, we're in discussion.
Chair, I'd like to add,
Please.
if they could also include what materials they may be utilizing for this new water line and electric lines, especially if it's gonna go underground around the parking lot or through the beach park. We do have a lot of heavy rains, and if that is a slope, rusted metal pipes are not the best thing I want to see in 15, 20 years.
Understood. Noted. Any other discussion? And granted, given the current position, I think we can maybe hold off on any other real deep stuff until we can get it re-agendized, if that's okay with folks. Okay, hearing no opposition. Members, we're going to close discussion for the evening, recognizing that the position is to defer decision, make additional recommendations to the City and County of Honolulu based on new plans to follow the ideas that were previously articulated, which we will document in email following this evening and send that back to the City and County of Honolulu Director of Parks and Rec on behalf of our neighborhood board. It's been moved and seconded. And mahalo Kenani for your mana'o. We can note that into our our future discussion as well. I don't have that answer for you, but we can ask. So it's been moved and seconded, members. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Aye. Mahalo. Any nays? Any abstentions? Hearing none, the position of aye is 9, 0 nays, 0 abstentions. Members, I really appreciate you folks making time for this discussion this evening. We will provide that recommendation of deferral for decision to the recognized authorities. Mahalo nui. We're going to move on to our closing Neighborhood Commission office. Do we have any announcements? Hearing none, the next Neighborhood Board meeting will be on Monday, November 10th, 2025, 7 p.m. And then our Olelo broadcast schedule is as followed, which is Channel 49 on the fourth Monday of the month, 9 p.m., and on the first and third Saturdays of the month at 3 p.m. With that being said, I'm going to ask if our Vice Chair can close us off this evening in Pule, and we will adjourn from there. Mahalo nui kako.
All right, Pule kako. Au hea oi kia kua nui nā noho, nā no huli kalani me ka honua no kamana. Nā kini a kua na au maku me nā kupuna o ko pō ma ke hao. Ke aloha nui au ko pakahi a pau. Mahalo ho ino kia pō I ako koa aku māko, I ako koa ai māko. E ho'olau lea I ka lahanau kana lima o ke ia aha no Waimānalo Neighborhood Board. A me ke la hapai aku kako me kia leo mahalo e oi kia kua. No ko kako wahi mauliola. I mea e kupaa e, I mea e kāko'o ai I nā mana'o na mea like ole o kia kaiulu o kākou Waimānalo nei. Ha meia hapai hapai aku kākou kia leo mahalo, kia leo mihi a oi kia nui. Mahalo ho'i no ka noho ana me mākou a ke olu holo aku me kākou ho'i aku ia kākou I ko kākou wahi kupona. Me ke la pani aku kākou I kia leo pule, kia leo mahalo me ke aloha no kau keiki ako kākou kama. O Iesu no, amen. E mahalo. Mahalo e kākou pakaiapa.
Mahalo kako. Everyone be safe. This meeting's adjourned at 9:49. Thank you so much.